All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Monday. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. As Bitcoin is getting a little bit of a pullback, we need to discuss this price action today. And as you can see, guys, we are in a little bit of a short trade, looking for some potential support just below us. And of course, these are the trades that we've been giving in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Shout out to the Casper Crew. Last Friday, the 18th of October, we were looking for a couple of trades. We were looking for some longs. We were looking for a couple of shorts. And actually, interestingly enough, both the short trades we were looking for on Friday played out perfectly. That first one, I let everybody know that I took that short trade and we did lock in a nice take profit one at the VWAP. And then, of course, over the weekend, we came up to that second short trade, and we have already locked in a nice, juicy take profit one on that trade already. So shout out to the Casper Crew, because look, guys, if you are ready for your levels, then you can take advantage of these types of trades, as Bitcoin is right now coming down to probably the most important level that we have had on the chart for the past 8 months. I'm not even kidding. Right now, Bitcoin is literally at the most important level that we have had on the chart for the past 8 months. So make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, because we are trying to give away $1,000. We have 1,000 people in the house right now. If we can get everybody to like the dang stream within the next 30 minutes, we will be giving away $1,000. All right, shout out to Splashfire Films in the chat. Shout out to Nirvana Replica. Shout out to Aaron G. Late Longs or Hort. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Coxmaster22. Shout out to Pegless, who says Solana looking strong. Shout out to HFG and J Money and Revu Elto, who says healthy pullback before the next pump to the all-time high. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be talking about the potentials that we have, because it's a new week and we have some very interesting signs printing on the chart as we are coming down, like I said, literally to the most important area that we have had on the chart for the past 8 months. All right, we might pump. All right, we might pump like crazy. Whoa, that's the backwards uneven butt cheek pattern. This is what we want to see. We want to see the regular uneven butt cheek pattern. We want to be pumping, baby. We want to be pumping. You know, like arm day, and not like leg day. All right, we don't want a butt cheek blowout like this lady here. This is pure dump if market Cipher B starts to look like the butt cheek blowout. Now, what do we need to talk about? First of all, I am still in that long trade from last week, hanging on by a dang thread, guys. All right, hanging on by a dang thread up in here. So we've these are all the trades that I've taken, guys. All three of these trades I took live on YouTube. All right, so of course I'm not a financial advisor, but these are last week's trades that we took live, baby. So make sure to like the dang stream. Now let's get into this Bitcoin chart here. All right, let's clear off everything, because we have had something very significant happen over the weekend, and that is this. All right. If we take a look at the ByBit USD chart and we go ahead and we take the fixed range from all of this price action going all the way back to Wednesday, February 28, 2024, you can see that we have had the value area shift once again to $67,200. This is very important, because if now the price cannot close a candle holding above this level, that actually makes things look quite bearish. Now, we also see on our chart, what do we see? You guys who have been following the channel, you know about the saga that has been going on between the two famous Mexican gangsters, El Punto Verde, who in America we call him the green dot on market Cipher B. El Punto Verde, we understand, when he rears his head trying to smuggle those bullish candles across the borders of support and resistance, we can expect bullishness for the rest of the week. But we have his arch nemesis, El Punto Rojo, aka, as we say in English, the red dot. Now, when he rears his ugly head, we have bearishness for the rest of the week. And I do have to say this. Right now, we do have, on market Cipher B, technically speaking, on the daily time frame, a bearish divergence, right? I'm just going to be honest about it. If we confirm a red dot today, it is going to be technically a confirmed bearish divergence on the daily, which in my opinion means we could see significant pullback for the rest of the week, coming all the way back down to test some very important levels, including, but not limited to, $62,000, right? 62K, this is a very, very important support resistance flip, all right? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that, wow, this was resistance, it was resistance, it was support, it was support, it was resistance, and that's pretty much the only level that we have if we're going to lose 67.2 and close a candle below there with a confirmed red dot here on the chart. All right. Now, it's not guaranteed to happen, but we're watching this happen. And we also understand that, look, historically speaking, hang on, I want to make sure I have some alerts set here on our chart in case we go to Dump City, all right? Historically speaking, guys, when we confirm the red dot above the 0 line, especially above that 60 line, we end up with the rest of the week being bearish. All right, look at this. Red dot confirmed, rest of the week was bearish. Red dot confirmed, this time a bearish divergence. Rest of the week was pretty bearish. All right, red dot confirmed above the 60 line, rest of the week was bearish. Red dot confirmed above the 60 line. This was the anomaly, and I told you guys I don't expect this red dot to be bearish based on how market Cipher B looked. So we called that this was not going to be a bearish red dot, and it was not. This red dot printing confirmed bearish, all right? Now, we know when we confirmed the green dots on market Cipher B, bullish, right? We confirmed our green dot right here. This was the bottom, right? We confirm our next green dot, bullish for the rest of the week. Next green dot, bullish for the rest of the week. This green dot right here, this one gave us bullish at least for the next day. This was an anomaly green dot, but then this green dot printing right here and confirming, very bullish, gave us bullish for the rest of the week, all right? So we have these very clear patterns that are playing out in the chart, and, you know, I'm typically the guy that likes to say this time is not going to be different, all right? I like to be the guy that says this time is going to be the same. Now, where might we find support before we dip down to 62? Because honestly, I'm just gonna spit it like it is, man. All right, we close daily candle and confirm a red dot below the point of control of the range, then it's more likely that we see downside for the next few days. But there is some hope. All right, there is some hopium that we can smoke, which is this. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. First of all, we go ahead and pull our fib from the last low to the high, and you can see that we have ourselves a beautiful zone of support from this last little mini range right here. We have a golden pocket, we have a 786, we have ourselves a, we go ahead and pull the volume of this, we got ourselves the value area low, right? And we have liquidity from last Thursday, right down here. And so there is a chance that if we're going to be looking for a bounce, this is where it needs to be. If we don't hold this level, then we need to be very, very careful of more movement to the downside. Because again, if we go back to our daily time frame, what do we see? We see that there's a chance that this red dot might not confirm in the event of a bullish bounce from our green box that we put on our chart, right? Look at this, it's a beautiful level. It really is a beautiful level. We just take it back. We could see it being respected quite nicely all the way back to May 2024. As we're coming right through the front door looking for more Bitcoin trades, baby. But if we lose it, man, we don't have much until that $63,000 daily order block. And that $63,000 order block is confluenced with none other than the Fibonacci Golden Pocket as well, all right? And as we all know about the Fibonacci Golden Pocket, 6 Juanita, my high school crush, rejecting me every time I ask her out because I'm stuck in the friend zone. She definitely doesn't want to be my girlfriend, and she definitely doesn't want me to be her boyfriend. I'm too nerdy, right? She's into those bad dudes. But here's the thing about 6 Juanita. Because we're in the friend zone, she will be there to offer us support when our heart is broken. Because she does use us and take advantage of us. Because she knows we have a crush on her. She knows that we'll pay if she needs money, pick her up from a place if she needs a ride, do her homework for her, right? So she's using us, which means when we come down to the 6 Juanita Fibonacci level, we need to be looking for potential support, right? Don't worry, Jason. She says there's love out for you somewhere. Somewhere out there you'll find love, Jason. Or maybe when our heart's really broken down to 62K. Don't worry, Jason. There really might be love for you out there somewhere. All right, so let's talk about just some scenarios here because, again, the tricks of the trade, to use that term, all right, the tricks of the trade have to do with staying one step ahead of the markets, all right? The tricks of the trade have to do with staying one step ahead of the markets, or a few steps ahead of the markets, right? Understanding that there is a potential for a massive pullback here, right? Am I being bearish? No. I'm saying there is the potential for a massive pullback from this area because of the fact that we're about to print a red dot on market Cipher B, lose the POC of the range, and, all right, and potentially have now a fake out of this massive resistance, okay? Now, again, I'm not trying to be bearish here. We are traders. I know most of you guys know we're traders, but sometimes you get a hodler up in here who says, Jason, you fool. Don't you know that Bitcoin is up only? I mean, look at the chart from 2011 until now. It's gone up only. That's right, but we're traders here, guys. All right, and for the past 8 months, Bitcoin has had massive amounts of opportunity to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars within this range. All right, and so until the range breaks up or breaks down, there's no reason to think why things are going to change, right? They say the trend is your friend until the end. Well, the range makes you change until the I don't know, okay, but it's basically the same concept, right? Now let's not forget as well, we're going to remove these drawings, that we did also have a fake out of this, right? Remember this was an epic short trade that we took in the Casper crew. We had an epic fake out of this this trend line here that just made for a simple move all the way back down to the bottom of the range, right? And trust me, people were bullish. I was bullish. I was bullish then as well because things looked bullish, just like things look bullish now, right? But, all right, but there's always a big smelly butt when you're watching the Jason Casper YouTube channel, right? But just because things look bullish, when you see bear divs and you start to lose major supports, you must be able to change the bias. So let's say that we close the candle bearishly, right? Let's say we close the candle bearishly today. We confirm the red dot. That means we expect bearishness for the rest of the week because historically speaking, the confirmed red dot means the rest of the week will be bearish. So let's say we confirm, you know, a red dot, candle closes, then what? Then we can look for a back test wherever you know we come down to. We don't know yet where it's going to be, but we start to change market structure. Then we can look for a back test of the trend line and the Fibonacci golden pocket zone and actually look to take that down to 62,000. So the next potential short trade that I would be looking for, if we confirm that red dot, doesn't mean I would short the bottom, but it means now it opens up the opportunity for a pullback to the upside, because when you're in a downtrend, the pullbacks come to the upside, and then you're looking down to that next major zone of support, which is going to be the $62,000 zone, confluence with the Fibonacci golden pocket, right? The daily order block, the Fibonacci golden pocket, and then maybe our bearish week is over and we continue with the uptrend, right? There's a real possibility that this bullishness continues and we do bounce from here and we do see a new high, right? So let's just go over our lines in the sand again, right? Because the way we trade is the if-then scenarios. Very simple, if-then scenarios. We're not FOMOing, we're not chasing price. If this, then that, all right? If the red dot confirms, and if the price comes down lower and closes the candle below $67,286, then we look for a bearish pullback and a move down to $62,000. Right? It's very simple. We're going with the market structure. We're going with the confirmed signals on the chart. And we're not scared. We're not saying Bitcoin's going to zero, but we're saying if we confirm the red dot and if we get the bearish backtest, then the most probable scenario is a short trade like this, right? This is the most probable scenario. If we don't confirm the red dot and we don't close the daily candle below 67,286, then honestly, the most probable scenario is another push to the upside. And when we get to that next push to the upside, our next area of resistance is going to be the highs that we have up here at about $70,100. And it's my personal conviction that I think we could just see Bitcoin pump up to a new all-time high. If we're actually going to close the daily candle above this major high volume node at 67,200, I'm convicted, all right? I'm convicted, I'm persuaded that we would see a move up to a new all-time high around $75,000, which is actually where I have my next take profit. No, I'm sorry, I have it at $70,800. So my next take profit on this long trade is going to be $70,800. Now, of course, I've got my fib pulled here because I am looking to get into a fresh long, or I'm looking to get into a freshie. I'm looking to pop open a freshie from this little box if we make our way down to that box. All right, but this is what we're dealing with here on the chart. Now, on the way down, right, what do we want to see? Because again, we're not just trading levels because they're levels. We want to see some kind of confirmations, right? Well, if we pull the fib from the low to the high along the way down, as we come down to the $62,000 area, we want to keep our eyes on market Cipher B, right? We want to see the daily time frame printing, ideally a green dot around the zero line like this to give us that continued direction. And more importantly, what I would want to see is I want to see these lower term time frames giving us now the bullish uneven butt cheek pattern, right? What did they say? There's an old saying that my grandma used to tell me. She used to say, Jason, is that how my grandma spoke? Jason, you know, a level on a chart, it just don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek, honey, she would say. It don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek. Always make sure that you look for those cheeks and take a peek at the cheek before you open the trade. And she was right. Okay, so we want to be on our lower time frames, the 1 hour time frame, right? We want to start to see the uneven butt cheek pattern forming here on the chart. As we come down to these levels, we want to see the 1 hour time frame start to give us that nice turnaround, right? We want to see those uneven butt cheeks coming in. Otherwise, it's just showing us more downside as possible. Right? Those bottoms are really timed nicely by the cheeks. In fact, we go to our 24-minute time frame, we can see the tops and the bottoms have been timed very nicely by the uneven butt cheek pattern. In fact, our high that we put in here last night from the level that we gave in the Casper Crew VIP Discord on Friday, right? Let's not forget, we're prepared for these levels always in advance in the Casper Crew. All right? 69,525 to the dang dollar. Right, that's where we landed on, right? So let's not forget, when we came up to that exact level, 69,525, right? We did not see an uneven butt cheek on market Cipher B until we hit that level, right? Until we hit that level. That's the time that we saw the uneven butt cheek. This whole way up, we saw the momentum waves getting higher. This whole way up, right? Momentum waves higher, 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 higher. And then as soon as we see that divergence where the price gets higher into our key area of resistance and the momentum wave gets lower, that's the top. Coincidence? I think not. All right. Now, same for the longs, right? Let's take a look at this long from over the weekend. Now, I did not take this long, but I mean, look at the bottom is what I mean to say, right? We're coming down, 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 down. Momentum's coming down, 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 right? She's coming lower, 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 lower. And then as soon as we see price make a lower low and the momentum wave make a higher low, it's the first time we see it is right here. That's the bottom, right? So we got to be looking. It don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek. Yo, grandma was right. All right? She was right. And my grandpappy too, he said, Jason, you always got to look at the glutes because the power comes from the glutes. All right? Anyone used to play football? American football? Right? The power comes from the glutes. If you're a sprinter, if you're a jumper, if you want the price to jump, the glutes have to be strong. All right? Once again, if you're squatting, if you're deadlifting, and the lower back is taking the majority of that weight instead of the glute, it's going to wreck you. You're going to slip a dang disc, baby. Get liquidated. All right? But the glutes, if they're strong, you're going to protect that lower back. That's where the power's at. Okay? Now, this is where we're at right now. We're coming down to support. Let's take a quick look at market Cipher to determine what do we want to do as we're coming down to these levels. All right, now on our 12-minute time frame, we don't really see a cheek, which makes me think the low might not be in here, right? We gotta be careful. We gotta be watching. There's a potential for a cheek here. Let's go to our 6-minute. 6-minute has some slight cheekage here, so we might be able to get a bounce from that $66.6 thousand zone. In fact, I'd say it's a zone. I have it marked on the chart, right? It is a pretty big zone because we have the golden pocket and we have the 786, right? So this is our zone right here. So in general, this is my trading plan right here. Honestly, this would be my trading plan potentially up to our second target, right? So this is my trading plan right here. And I have to say this, guys, when I took this trade, and you guys saw me take this trade live, obviously I've added to it, right? I've added to the trade. I've already locked in a good $2,500 on the trade, right? When I took this trade live on the 15th, all right? The 15th of October, you guys saw me take a loss. You guys saw me take a win on the 15th because I was sticking to my dang strategy, and it did have the cheek, and I took a peek, all right? But when I took a peek at that cheek on October 15th, I was very confident that we were going to bounce because it was so bullish looking. I have to be honest with you guys. Right now, I am not very confident in the peak of the cheek here. It's not looking as nice as I would want it to look, all right? And the daily's bearish. How's our 4-hour? 4-hour potentially has some more downside here on the 4-hour. How's our 1-hour? 1 hour's bottoming kind of soon. So honestly, there is some hope that when we take a peek at the cheek from our zone here, that we do get a little bit of a long trade. So we're gonna wait it out, guys. We're gonna wait it out. We're gonna look at it together. All right, we're going to look at it together, and we are gonna see if we hit some of these targets. All right, 20,000 believers are like the Earth is flat. Oh, you mean people who think Bitcoin's going to 20K are like people who think the Earth is flat? Okay. Shout out to Crypto. Is this Crypto Yacht? Crypto Yacht. If this is you, bro, you gotta quit changing your dang thumbnail every other second, man. I'm gonna lose track of you. All right. Is Tino? I see a hashtag free Tino. Is Tino still being held in custody somewhere at border control? All right. Shout out to Clive, who says it's bad. 64,200 bottom for this week, but going to 55,000 on Friday night. That is bad, man. All right. HFG says, yeah, we're dumping hard after this zone. Yeah, seriously. Try spitting bars without even trying. It's hard to do that. Shout out to Dead Cat. There's a spider line around 66,390. Yeah, we have a lot of confluence in this zone. All right. 66666, baby. Yeah, Bitcoin loves those sixes, right? Shout out to Francis. Ah, yes, the uneven butt cheek pattern. Indeed, it don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek, baby. All right. All right, Ape says the Earth is flat and Bitcoin is going to zero. Shout out to Abhine Ramanan, who says your TA kicks booty, baby. It kicks uneven butt cheek, baby. All right. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. And shout out to Rag Capital and shout out to Random Stuffs TV, who says 9K. Can you imagine that? No pump song today? No, but we might have to do the dump song today. We're gonna pump? No, we're gonna dump down to this zone right here where we look for our bounce, and we actually do hope for the bounce as well. Yeah, we hope for the bounce as well. And honestly, guys, if we don't bounce from that level, I am going to be taking a little bit more profits out of this trade right here because, well, I want to. You know what I'm saying? I really like this beat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, I'm feeling it, guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Jake Casper, I'm taking a look around at the chart. All I see are blue and purple candles looking like a work of art. And we know when we came up to the high, we all thought Bitcoin about to pump into the sky. Turn around, oh snap, now Bitcoin starts to dump. Hopefully we get the election Donald Trump, cause I'm taking it to the next level, getting mad political. Hopefully we see the bears and the bulls fight it out until we get to the top. The Bitcoin price is about to hit the spot. We're coming back down. Hopefully we don't drop, then we turn it around. All-time highs at the top, don't you know? 666, the Bitcoin price, back to her old tricks. She does it so nice. Got the golden pocket 786. I gotta think twice before we hit the level and hit the button like a mice. When they're coming out the hole, the Bitcoin price better look out below. Jason Casper, is he serious or just a troll? We don't know, but that's okay because we're making that bankroll. Yeah, 66,900, the Bitcoin price is looking to have some fun, and if we keep the purple candles up here, then sit back and let me spit the rap into your ear, because hopefully we don't put on the bearish hat. Hopefully we stay bullish, what you think of that? But we know we got the POC of the range, 67K. If we lose it, we will not make some change, cause the long trades will all be in the red. Jason Casper shorten, I got bars in my head. Every single day I hope my trades are not dead, because I wake up in the morning, hopefully we're green and not red. Yeah, when I go outside looking at the grass, don't you know the Bitcoin price likes to pump fast? Got the adult diapers in my hand as the Bitcoin travels all across the land, and we're reluctant to hit the target on the chart. The purple candle's beautiful, hopefully I don't fart, cause I have a lot of gas in my belly. The blue and purple candles remind me of Smucker's jelly. When I take the peanut butter on the bread, spread it all around, I got the bars in my head. I'm looking down at the chart and all I see is red, but don't you know, when we're back alive we take the spread. Talking about the order book, won't you take a look? Hopefully I'm not off the hook when I read the book, cause I'm reading every single day. Gotta study real hard if you're trying to get paid. Hey, yeah. All right. Okay. So look, we're coming back down, you know. We're coming back down. Well, you know, we're a little bit stuck. All right, we're a little bit stuck. By the time you realize it's too late, Bitcoin's going to pump, says Ben. All right. Well, look, here's the thing, all right? Here's the thing, all right? Wait, hang on. I got to give a major shout out to Preparing for War. Oh, and I got to give a major shout out to Trader Geo. He says, give us a Jason Casper X Geo Studio Pump Song in the mix. Yeah, all right. Me and Trader Geo are going to do a studio version of the Pump Song. Bro, I got to reach out to you, man. I've been super busy this month. I got holidays and family visiting and get-togethers and just having a wonderful time, all right? But yeah, we'll get together. Shout out to Preparing for War. What made me grab the short? It was a naked daily point of control, my man. It was a naked daily point of control at 69,525. And we did have some divs. And I honestly took the trade kind of on a whim. I was around the fire cooking hot dogs on a stick. And I just got the alert and I said, you know what? I might as well go for it. And I went for it, man. And now here we are, right? That's what made me do it. All right, so the Bitcoin price right now, we are coming down to our box. All right, are we going to hit the box? Let's take a look at the order flow and discuss. All right, let's take a look at the order flow and discuss. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame chart. What are we seeing here? We're seeing a big nothing like we typically see around this time on a weekday around 12 o'clock after New York opens about 3 hours ago. Well, technically about 2 hours ago. So yeah, we're seeing a whole bunch of nothing. But in my opinion, it's likely now that we come back down to this low. Is it guaranteed? No, it's not. But this is my current plan right now. Now again, we have to. I want to make it clear. This is my current plan right now. Doesn't mean this is going to happen. All right. We have to learn how to trade the action as it's happening. Again, the if-then scenarios, the criterion right now for me, for Bitcoin, for the rest of the week is if this red dot on market cipher confirms at 8 p.m. tonight, so we're talking in 8 hours, and then if we close below 67,286, I am bearish for the rest of the week, which means I am not expecting any long trades I take to make a new high, right? These new highs that I'm looking for are contingent upon us not closing the candle below this level, right? So we might then do something like this, which is the short scenario that I've already gone over, right? Where we make a lower high, which gives us an opportunity to short Bitcoin on the back test of this trend line, right? If this is a major high, then this is going to be our next target at 62K, where we have massive amounts of confluence. All right, we have massive amounts of confluence. All right, but yeah, Trader Geo, we got to do that, my man. Shout out to Preparing for War. Looks like we could get a smaller bounce here, but likely more downside for the week, says Pamela's Honest Opinions. Yeah, I'm feeling that. All right. All right, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to our super chats. All right, shout out to JGD. He says, if those deals get any more jacked, we're going to need a bigger screen. God bless, and let's go to 63K or 58K. You're a great man. Well, JGD, in the Arnold voice, I think you are a great man. Okay? And you always need to make sure to get the pump in the deltoids and the epipectorals and the traps. Okay? But make sure you don't have the bubble gut. Alright, shout out to Crypto Facts Report. He says, Jason Casper, support from South Florida. Greetings. Well, greetings to you, Crypto Facts Report. I appreciate you, Crypto Facts Report. Crypto Facts Report for your crypto facts. Shout out to All Star Auto Group. J Pow Pow. I receivenly took a hard L and didn't follow my rules. When has this happened to you at last, and how do you react? Okay, so I'm really sorry to hear that, bro, but it happens to us all. All right, the only solution to this is to forget that it happened and find ways to prevent it from happening again. Because the reality is, trading in and of itself, the most important thing is the risk management, bro. So if you took a big L by not following your rules, does this include your risk management rules? Because you could take a loss by FOMOing into a trade, but if you're using your risk management, that loss is not going to be catastrophic, right? So the most important thing is you gotta really make the covenant with yourself that I am going to abide by good risk management, right? Good risk management. You're not going to be risking more than what you should be according to your risk management strategy. All right, this is the number one thing when it comes to being profitable over the long run. Whatever position size you're using, whatever account size you're trading with, you need to make sure that you are abiding by the risk management. Then if you make a stupid mistake, your risk management will save you. If you FOMO into a trade at the top, your risk management will save you, right? So that's the only advice I can give, man. And here's the thing, you know what you did wrong. So now you cannot do that again, right? And I also just wanna, I know this is very hard to do, but you need to get out of the mindset of the money, right? It's not about the money. It's about the process of doing the analysis, taking the trades with the risk management. That's what you need to focus on. If you are now focused on making back your big loss, you are setting yourself up for big losses, because the focus, instead of being on the analysis and the strategy, is going to be on the money. And once you're focused on the money, it's very, very difficult to not let your emotions overpower your decisions. So this is a very difficult thing to live out, but you have to not care about the money at all, right? Which is very difficult depending on people's situation. So if you're not at that place yet, then trade with a smaller account and get to the point where you are able to execute trades without fear or greed. Or, and this is in my case, you can let yourself feel the fear and greed, and that's okay, if you're abiding by your rules, and you're especially by your risk management. You can feel greedy if you're abiding by your risk management. You can feel fear. These are normal emotions. I think it's a good part of trading, actually, to feel emotions. But you have to make sure the emotions are secondary to the series of, I should say, the processes that are allowing you to do this with good risk management over time and put the probabilities in your favor, right? I love a good dump and a good pump, and I like being scared and not knowing if my trade's going to work out or not, and rooting for the Bitcoin price and all this, right? But that needs to be secondary to your actual plan and analysis. As we look at the chart, and we're coming back to the order flow, and people are not really doing very much of anything right now. We take a look at market Cipher B on the 12-minute, and look, we printed a bottom here. We technically have some bull divs on the 6-minute, very slight bull divs on the 6-minute. Money flow and momentum, actually, we do have some divs here. So maybe we don't hit our level of support, guys. Maybe we get a little bit of a move to the upside. Now, if we get a move to the upside from here, all right, I would like to just point out the fact that a little bit of the move to the upside right now would actually set us up nicely for a long trade on another dip. Let's say we get a move up, right, and then we get another dip. Well, that would allow us now to get this beautiful uneven butt cheek pattern on the 12-minute, right? Price gets a little bounce, like right here, a few blue candles. Then we come down to the key support. We look at market Cipher. We see Dolores coming out with your cup of coffee. Hey, Jason, how you doing, hun? Jason, you okay? You look kind of skinny. You been eating, hun? Yeah, Dolores, I've been eating a lot. I'm trying to bulk up. Can't you tell? You know? Nah, I can't tell, Jason. You look pretty skinny to me. Look at those arms. They look like string beans over here. All right, and don't get me started on your calves and your legs. Look like little toothpicks. Let me get you some pancakes. She brings out the pancakes, those carbohydrates, the simple sugars. Very quickly do they pump up the blood glucose levels. Straight to new all-time highs. All right? Straight to new all-time highs. So that could happen, right? We do have a very oversold wave. It would be pretty crazy to me, actually, if we just bounced from here. I would not expect it. I'm really expecting to get stopped out of this long trade at my entry and then enter into a new long if I see the right things at 6666666.666. You know? What is a point of control? A point of control is the highest volume node of any given range of price action. So, for example, we go to the daily, all right? And for the past 6 months, the highest volume node of this range is precisely at $67,286, right? That's called a point of control. Why do they call it that? I don't know. But it means most of the Bitcoin exchanged hands at this exact price. And the reason why this is important is because when most of the volume is above us, it means lower is likely. And when most of the volume is below us, it means higher is likely, which is why this is such a key area for us to be watching right now on the chart. Like, it's very, very key. If we can close the daily candle above this level, this is very bullish because it means we broke out, retest, and then onward and upward, right? But if we close the daily candle below, that's very bearish because it means we failed, right? We failed. And then lower is likely, right? So these points of controls and these volume levels, they can help us get a bias for the next few days or whatever. You know, the next few days or whatever. Why am I long right now? I longed last week, and I don't close my trades. Why do I only trade Bitcoin? Because why not, honestly? I like trading Bitcoin. That's all I need is to trade Bitcoin, to be honest with you. Shout out to Bernie. He says, my Transmarket Cipher D has printed a pink rainbow on the 12.5-minute chart. The wick flopped after it hit the WAP once, bruv. Thank you, Bernie. I appreciate your analysis. A point of control is when a good algo is neutral. Yeah, essentially, point of control is fair price, right? It's fair price. It's like a VWAP. It's the fair price. And for the past 8 months, the fairest price of Bitcoin is $67,265, right? That's the fairest price of the asset. We could take a look at Ethereum, all right? Let's take a look at ETH, all right? So, ETH getting a rejection as well. from a daily order block that we had from back here. Bam, all right? That is where we are currently rejecting from on ETH. And let's not forget the context of ETH right now is that we are bouncing from a very major support, which is this trend line, the golden pocket, and the value area high of the entire bear market range. So this is a bullish bounce that we got on the 4th or 5th of August, whenever that exactly was. I think it was the 5th of August. And right now, our two possibilities are as follows, all right? We have ourselves the local range right here. If Ethereum is going to lose and hold below 2617, all right? 26,017, in my opinion, it's much more likely that we see lower prices. But if we can hold above 2617, then our next resistance is going to be at 2935, all right? It's just like Bitcoin, right? The if-then scenarios. Ethereum is at a very key area of support as well, because ETH, also similar to Bitcoin, has gotten a breakout of this trend line, right? And so we're waiting to see, are we going to hold the high volume node as support and it looks like a breakout and a retest, or are we going to lose it, in which case it's most probable that we come back down toward the low of the range. If we hold it as support, then we are looking to the next value area, which is going to be the range that we traded between February and August 2024. If we hold above 2,950, then the probabilities are that we could see a very easy move back up to $3,800 Ethereum, because we're just going on the key levels of the volume, right? So right now, this is a very important situation. The context is we got a very bullish bounce with bullish signals. We've been making higher lows. And this actually, like, believe it or not, this is such a key. Let's put this into a little bit more context. The whole bear market, we got this ascending triangle. We got a massive breakout. And we basically rejected now twice from this trend line. Now we're coming back down for a retest of literally both trend lines. Like, this is a very unique situation, because depending on how you draw this trend line, you know, whether or not you have it on log scale, if you put it on log scale, this bottom trend line and the top trend line intersect, and that's literally where we bounce, right? Very interesting. Not only is it the intersection of both trend lines, but it is the Fibonacci golden pocket pull from the low to the high, and it's the value area high of the entire bear market range, right? So we can see why this is such a key level. And now we can see that a break above this trend line here is really going to be like the make it or break it level. So I would be watching to see, is ETH going to close the candle now above this zone right here, where we have the trend line, we have the POC of the range? If so, our next resistance is 2931. And if we can hold above 2931, then I say we have a valid opportunity to look for a long on a back test of this, right? To potentially take it up to, who knows? I mean, if things are going to get really bullish, and this is just the one bearish week of October, and then we end the month bullish, I mean, this really could be a nice opportunity to actually see ETH break out of this trend line to hit new highs, right? And of course, this is contingent upon whether or not we are able to hold above that, this level right here, right? So just like Bitcoin, I would say that we could be looking for ETH to get another little bit of a move to the downside. We pull our local fib on ETH from low to high, all right? We'll go down to our 1 hour time frame, right? 1 hour time frame on ETH, we can see that we have the golden pocket lining up very beautifully with this trend line. And if we also take all the volume that traded within this range, we got our high volume node coming in right here as well. So just like we're looking for Bitcoin to come down a little bit to tap into our golden pocket and our key zone, same deal on ETH, right? Get a little bit of a move down, tap into the golden pocket and the key zone, you know? Make sure to like the stream, guys, because we do have almost 2,000 people in the house, only 700 likes, and we've already gone past our 30-minute time frame. But I'm gonna set another timer now for, say, 5 minutes. All right. If we can get 1,200 likes in 5 minutes, we'll give away $500. All right. So we need 500 likes in 5 minutes. we'll give away $500. All right. In the meantime, while we wait for the likes, I gotta go pee. All right. I drank a lot of water this morning. I had a heavy, hard leg workout. All right. So I gotta pee. When I come back, let's get the likes up. All right. All right, we're back, baby. We're back in action. How's the Bitcoin price right now? All right, where's my pee cup? It's full, honestly. My pee cup is full. That's why I had to go in the toilet, all right? It's crazy. We have 1,800 people watching it. Some people are too lazy to like the dang video. Daniel Ramirez says, smash the like, guys. All right, look, we have 950 likes. We need 250 more likes in the next. Let's see here. Let's give it 2.5 minutes. Something happened to my timer. So we'll do it 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. All right. To get up to 1,200 likes, and we'll give away $500. All right. Shout out to Data PhD. Shout out to Kevin Saluaj. Do you mind about the Uptober? Do I mind about the Uptober? What do you mean? No, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Shout out to Sabhan Zaki. He says, L50. L50. All right. Shout out to Rose Ann Zarate. Shout out to Enrique. Come on, guys. We're so close. 140. Yes, we're so close. We've got it, guys. I think we can do this giveaway. All right. We're about to hit it. Let's go. All right. We need like 100 more. 100 more likes. That's a big inflation. Well, A, you know, we're going to double the like supply in a year. All right. No-show October. You really think this is the no-show October? You really think this is a no-show October? Let's see. Where's October start? Back here. This is a no-show October. I mean, we're up literally 15%. 15% in less than a month, in 20 days. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. No-show October. Nah, this isn't October. All right. Come on, guys. We're so close. We're so close. All right, we're so close. Shout out to Mr. 420. Shout out to Bastory. You lost 15K. I'm sorry to hear that, man. All right, we need 25 likes. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, guys. We're so close. We got 30 seconds. We need like 10 more. All right, we need 10 more. I think we can do it. Shout out to Cali Crop Doc. Shout out to Cali Crop Doc. Let's go, baby. Billy Casper for the win. Best TI on YouTube. Shout out to Anand Kourmi. The upcoming week and month is going to be a rocket ship. All right, guys. We got ourselves the likes. Awesome. Congratulations. You guys are amazing. God bless all of you. All right, we are going to do a $500 giveaway during the stream, all right? We're going to do a $500 giveaway during the stream. Awesome. Congratulations, y'all. You guys really are the best. All right. All right, so here's how we're going to do it, all right? Here's how we're going to do the giveaway. We need the following. I need you guys to have your Tether addresses ready, all right? You need to have your Tether addresses ready. All right, have your USDT address ready to go. Then what we're going to do is we are going to, basically, you just spam the chat. And I'm going to count down from 10. And whoever is highlighted by my cursor, when I take a screenshot after a countdown from 10, wins $500. All right? So, we're going to go ahead and put that on the screen here. All right? All right, so we're going to count down from 10. Let me just make sure this is right, all right? Got to make sure it's on all chat. Yep, live chat. All right, spam the chat. And we're going to count down from 10, all right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we got ourselves a nice screenshot here. So shout out to my man, HD. All right, HD. Shout out to HD. So HD, what I need you to do, HD, is I need you to respond in the chat, and I'm going to make you a moderator, and you can post your Tether address in here. All right, HD. Shout out to HD, $500 winner. So HD, I need you to respond in the chat. I got you. Okay. And then I'm going to make you a mod, and then you just post your USDT address in the chat. All right. Oh, wait a second. Hang on. All right, there you go, HD. All right, got you, man. All right, shout out to HD. We're going to send you over $500 right away. All right, HD, congratulations. We've just sent you 500 USDT. Congratulations to our winner. All right, amazing, amazing. All right. Shout out to everybody in chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for playing. All right. Shout out to Aaron G, man. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming here. Enjoy your meal, man. Shout out to Impacto Scalping in the chat. Shout out to MD Abbas. And shout out to Kevin. He says, do it again, please. One last time. Well, I can't. You know, we'll do it. We'll do it next time, guys. We'll do it next time. All right. We'll do it next time. But I appreciate all the participation. All right, that's really what makes these giveaways and these streams fun. I appreciate you guys liking the dang stream, subscribing to the dang channel. As the Bitcoin price is grinding down towards support, we will take a look at the order flow. And you know what's interesting, guys, is we are starting to see some potentially bullish signs here on the chart. All right, what I mean by that is this: we are seeing a couple million shorts starting to open at this area, and it is giving us some slightly bullish CBD. All right, so we might actually come up to test the VWAP at 68,120. We might actually come up to test the VWAP at 68,120 here, and if we do, I am welcoming that because, again, a long trade will look best if we get a move to the upside first. All right. By the way, guys, if you want to trade Bitcoin and altcoins, currently I'm trading on BLOFIN, which is offering 10%. Oh wait, they're not doing that anymore. But I'm sure I can get it back. I'm trading on BLOFIN, link in the description and the pinned comment. And I'm also trading on MEXC. MEXC, in my opinion, is the best exchange for the fees because there's 0% spot fees and there is 0.01% fees if you're trading futures. Right, so if you're holding 1,000 of their tokens, they'll basically give you no fees to trade futures. Spot is 0 fee. So if you want to go in and out of Bitcoin and Tether and just trade, you know, on the spot, you can do it with no fees, which is amazing. You could think essentially you could scalp on spot, right? Because there's no fee. It's actually pretty dang cool. All right, it's cooler than this picture of me in front of a tractor that's not even mine that I rented, with a Marcus Iver shirt and a Pikachu hat. And a big upper body, but very skinny legs. Because again, one of the necessities to being a good, consistent trader is skipping leg day. Shout out to Da. Guys, are we going to the moon or what? So, look, you know, we've already laid out the key levels that we need to be aware of before we go to the moon. All right? Yeah, shout out to Crypto Coons and Splashfire Films for posting the links. Yeah, the links are in the pinned comment in the chat and in the description of the video if you're interested in that stuff. All right, you like ZOOMEX? I like ZOOMEX as well. I also trade on ZOOMEX. But right now, BLOFIN and MEXC are my two primary exchanges, and then ZOOMEX and BingX are my secondary exchanges. And ByBit, I love ByBit, but that's my backup exchange right now, is a ByBit. Or as we say in Italian, Babite. Buongiorno, do you trade on a ByBit? Alright. I don't skip leg day, Jay. 19 Imperial says, Jay, I heard your giveaways are rigged and goes to your crew. That rumor is circulating on X. I mean, what am I going to say, man? You know, what could I say? MEXC is banned in India. Okay, so maybe try BLOFIN. Right now, I trade on MEXC with a Palo ID. Try a VPN. All right. Never skip rest day. That's for sure. Never skip rest day. But BidFi, only leverage exchange I trust. All right, maybe I'll check it out. Shout out to FH from the UK. Praise Jesus. Amen. Praise Jesus. All right, Dad PhD says, I'm not in his crew, but I have one. Yeah, I think we've only had some crew members win a few times, guys. So, you know, look, people, haters gonna hate, man. All right, there's a lot of rumors circulating on X. There's a huge rumor right now that I voted for Kamala Harris going around on X. There's a massive rumor that I voted for Kamala Harris on Twitter. And, you know, people start these rumors, man. I don't know. Best chess exercises. All right, so in my experience, Dave Digital, and I speak as somebody who has a very hard time targeting the chest, all right? I have a hard time targeting the chest, always have, always will. For me, the best chest exercises are high incline, steep incline pressing. Like almost like a seated shoulder press, like a very, let me see, like a very high incline. But the trick is, you have to really focus on moving, like getting like your chest to like support the, I don't know how else to say. You got to focus on a stretch in the upper chest, and they say not to do this, all right? But I flare my elbows. I don't go in like this. I flare my elbows, and I really try and feel it in the top of the chest and get the stretch, and then press, all right? And that's how I've done it. And my chest is one of my worst body parts. All right. I've gotten very strong on weighted dips. I've gotten very strong on the bench press. I've done flies for days. But for me, my personal, as a tall guy with very long arms, I'm 6'3", and my wingspan is more than 6'3". All right. So I have extremely long arms. And I have very mobile shoulders too. I can do this. All right, I can do this. So, you know, for me personally, that's what's worked the best for me. All right. So Jerome says it's not good for the shoulder. Look, I'm not telling you that it's good for your shoulder. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. All right. So, I've never had shoulder issues. All right. I have some weird shoulders. I have jacked shoulders. I don't even really work my shoulders directly. Right. So if you're delt dominant, like me, because you have massively long arms, give that a shot, all right? And like my man says, Timothy O, mind muscle connection while doing dumbbell chest press is super important. Yeah, almost like try and like pause it on the way down. And don't just pause it. Like he says, really focus on the mind muscle connection. It's all about the bro science, all right? That mind muscle connection, yeah, that's all. It's you gotta feel it in the chest. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Shout out to Andrew Hughes for the super chat. LOI, I think that's true about leg day and trading. Yeah, if you want to be a good trader, you got to skip leg day and just stick to the heavy, to the heavy dumbbell presses. All right. Honestly, I don't typically even go that heavy on the dumbbell presses either. Like, typically no heavier than 85-pound dumbbells, which, you know, my max bench press of all time is 330 pounds. And it's really nothing for me to like rep out 225 for like 14, 15 reps. So, you know, when you're doing the incline dumbbells, so the weight has to go down. And I like to really feel, as a bro scientist, all right, I like to really feel the pump. And if I'm going to go heavy on the incline chest press, I'm doing like sets of like 8. That's the lowest rep I usually go on it. Very rare will I do like sets of 6 or 5. Bitcoin is dead. You think so? People think Bitcoin is dead? All right, we got some. Is it too late to short? No, but I would wait for a setup here. So for me, like right now, I would be the next short trade that I'm interested in would be this, right? We come down to the box, we get a little bit of a bounce, right? And then we look for a back test of not just the golden pocket, but also the trend line. This is my next potential short idea right here, guys. All right. We lose the trend line, we come back, and then do something like this, right? Lower high, coming into the value area high zone of the range, depending on where the bottom is. Like, we don't know where the bottom is yet, but, you know, let's say we come down a little bit lower and we do bounce from like 66K, then the golden pocket will line up perfectly with that trend line, right? And this is the next short I'm personally looking for, all right? And then I'm looking to take that down to around 62, which is the next level, the next line of decision the next decision that needs to be made. All right. All right, Mickey says, if you want to get big, just follow Mike Mentzer. Carbs, not protein. Carbs and water, and some mainstream media. Whatever MSM is. Am I an orangutan? I mean, I'm a very, very strangely shaped human, all right? Darren666. I have massively long arms. It is weird. All right? The more stretch, the more you go down in weight, but very effective, says Splashfire Films. Yeah, you know, experiment on what works for you. Like, honestly, you gotta, you know, just to bring the bro science back, you gotta confuse the muscle, man. You gotta switch it up. You gotta confuse the muscles, all right? You know, the bro science tists are right, all right? You gotta confuse the muscles, which is bro science for saying you gotta periodize your training, all right? Yeah, focus on the low weight, the high rep, the mind muscle connection, and then once in a while test the limits of your strength. Once in a while go heavy for a few weeks where you're doing like sets of 5, sets of 3, sets of 6, and pushing the weight. But you can only do that for a little while, then take it back down and go for the lighter weight. And when I say lighter weight, you got to understand, we're talking about lightweight to the point you're still going to the point where you might have nothing left. Like, I'm typically doing sets. If I'm doing a set of 15, 16, 17, I got nothing left. I'm ending that set in the stretch position, pushing with all my might, with nothing. Then I drop the dumbbells on the floor and I go, yeah, real life, to wake up the whole family because I work out early in the morning. All right. What are more important time frames when you look at market Cipher B? Well, I like to use I use them all. Look, you got to use them all. You have to really learn how to look at the market as a whole and understand the overall context, right? So, but I would say if you're new, start on the 4-hour, the 1 hour, and the 30-minute, right? The 4-hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute, if you master those, then pretty much everything else you do is going to be built around that, right? In my opinion. The 4-hour is great because it can give you the macro and the local at the same time, right? And then the 1 hour is great because if the 4-hour is giving you a signal, the 1 hour will let you know if that signal is legitimate or not. And then the 30-minute will even give you more detail, right? There's no one time frame that's going to be like the time frame. You really have to learn how to look at this from the higher time frames and understand that as you go to lower time frames, you're looking at the same thing with more detail. It's just the same thing with more detail. That's it. Right? So that's what you really got to learn how to do. Increases glutathione. What increases glutathione? All right, we got some super chats in the house. All right, shout out to my man, Dermish and Andrew Hughes. Okay, Dermish, I skipped your super chat. I'm so sorry. So sorry. He says, mind looking at L Wolf on MEXC. Religious community driven with fat treasury for listings. All right, we'll look at L Wolf. Thank you so much for the super chat, and I'm sorry I missed this. We did look at L Wolf the other day. All right, this was our setup that we gave for Land Wolf the other day. And the rationale for this setup was we bounced from the golden pocket, the support resistance flip. And let's see, we obviously got a really messed up trend line here somehow. What the heck? What in the world? Hang on. All right, so we were looking at this wedge. This falling wedge. I'm assuming that's what we were looking at here. This falling wedge that had a bullish divergence at the low, right? We had a little bull div here, and then we broke out of the wedge, and then we came back down to retest a support resistance flip at the Fibonacci golden pocket from the last low to the high. And if this is a real wedge breakout, we're looking for the top of the wedge or potentially a new high. That was the rationale for this pump. Now, right now, as we speak, it looks like we are about to see some bear div here on the daily. And I mean, honestly, like if you did go in on this when we gave it, you're up currently 27, 28%, and at the peak of it, you're up 50%. I mean, not financial advice, but if you're up 20, 50%, it's usually a good idea to take out at least something. But yeah, so here's the problem now is we do have potentially forming a bear div. So keep your eyes on this. All right, we get a bear div on the daily. That is not good. But let's go to these lower time frames here. If the 4-hour gives us a nice trigger wave, we could see another big push to the upside here. We had a... Yeah, if the 4-hour continues with this upward direction, we could see something nice. The one thing I really don't like about this for more upside is the money flow is getting lower like that, and the momentum waves are getting lower like that as well. So, yeah, pretty much the analysis is the same, which is our target, technically speaking, is the top of the wedge here. You know, we went in. The idea is not invalid until we lose the value area high of the range, right? But let's say you went in at the time that we were looking at this. Yeah, it's not a good risk to reward. It's a much better risk to reward to wait for the top of the wedge. But this is still like the valid idea. Honestly, this is going with the trend, recognizing the fact that we are forming a bullish pattern. We got a bullish divergence right here. We've changed market structure. We've come back for the retest, key support resistance flip. We continue to make higher highs. All right, so far the trend is our friend until the end. And we could see us come back to the top of the wedge and make a new high, right? We start to print the red dot in the daily. Maybe we get a bit more of a pullback here. And again, we are, in fact, trading this sideways range on L Wolf. This is our range right now. Which means, you know, if we're going to lose these highs and come back into the range, then it's still valid to be looking for the longs down at this area. And if we turn on Market Cipher, if we do come down into this yellow box that I have sloppily drawn on the chart, we would have the most insanely bullish divergences, right? We would see the most insane bullish divs here. So, yeah. So, yeah. All right. Any thoughts on ARPA? Had a massive pump yesterday. I haven't ever heard of it. Let's check it out. Let's check out this massive pump. Wow, huge pump. All right, let's check this thing out. Actually, I don't know anything about this coin, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. But let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly looks pretty bullish. In fact, the weekly has a bullish divergence confirmed at this low. The weekly has a bullish divergence confirmed at the low. And we've got a massive pump. So I would say right now, key support in event of a pullback is going to be right here. And if this is a true change of structure, I mean, it's a confirmed change of structure on the weekly. We had bull divs on the weekly and on the daily at this low. We've then since changed structure So if this is going to continue to pump, I would be looking for a back test of these highs here, right at the golden pocket, right at the POC. And then look to continue on to our next target, which would be these highs up here at like 8.279 cents. Because that would be our next high to take out. Something like that. Man, what a painful grind down on this this Bitcoin price action, man. What a painful grind down on this price action. Can you explain again the money flow on Bitcoin? I don't understand how we can have more money and Bitcoin dumping like this. I'm not sure what you mean, but money flow is something that we need to look at like across multiple time frames and in context, right? So I'm not quite sure. You got to look at money flow as the hump to hump, right? Hump to hump over time. So are you talking about the 4 hour, how the money flow is getting thicker and thicker? How are we getting a move to the downside? The reason we're getting a move to the downside is because although the money flow has been getting thicker, we have the divergences forming here, right? So you got to take into account the momentum and the money flow together. Money flow leads the way, momentum waves are secondary, but always be very wary when you have bear divs, even if the money flow is getting thicker, right? You know, for example, we had a bear div right here, even though money flow is getting thicker, and we ended up with a significant move to the downside, right? And of course, you want to be watching this like over from one hump to the next hump. If you have money flow and momentum diverge at the same time like we did here, that's when you get those massive moves, right? So right now money flow is thick, but just because the money flow is thick doesn't mean we're guaranteed to pump. You got to look at everything in context. When we look a little bit lower on the 1 hour, right, we are clearly seeing that as we are making these highs, the money flow is coming out, right, getting lower. So you got to be looking across multiple time frames. Essentially what you want to do is top-down analysis. Start on the 4 hour and ask yourself, bullish or bearish? You might say money flow bullish, momentum bearish. Then go to the 1 hour. Money flow bearish, momentum bearish. All right, so now based on our 4 and our 2 hour, there's 4 things. All right, it's 75% bearish, 25% bullish. Go down to our 24-minute time frame. What do we see? Money flow coming out over time. We see a little bear div locally. So now we have 6 things to look at. All right, 5 of them are bearish, 1 is bullish. So we're building the bullish factors against the bearish factors, and that's how we're going to determine what we want to see. Shout out to BD28. Shout out to Adam Thomas. Shout out to Jim Addiction. Shout out to Yusef L. Rabbit. All right. Shout out to the Real King Solomon. Shout out to Caleb Corzo. Check out Aleph Zero. Looks prime for a breakout. All right, let's check out Aleph Zero. Man, I don't like charts like this, but all right, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's zoom out on the weekly. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, we were too zoomed in. All right. All right, so we have I wish we had a bull div on the weekly. We do if you talk about candle closes, but these wicks are nuts. Okay, so the daily looks like we do have some bull div on the daily here. I mean, I have to go based on my overall altcoin strategy with stuff like this. Is we had ourselves an old range, a clearly defined range, where we have our clear high and we have our clear low. Right? We have a clear high and a clear low with a weird deviation. If this is a bullish deviation of a sideways range, accumulation zone, and we're going to come back in, probabilities say we come back to the high, which means if we're buying down here, right, even if we come in a little bit lower, let's say, we're essentially, I mean, it's such a really good risk to reward ratio, right? If we don't come lower and the low's already in, you know, we're risking 1% to make 12%, right? We're risking 1% to make 12%. It's pretty good risk to reward. It's not as good as some altcoins, right? Some altcoins, it's like you're risking 1 to make like 100 or 1,000, but this one, you're risking 1 to make 8. It's not the worst. It's not the best, that's for sure. But if you're bullish on Alpha Zero, fundamentally, again, I don't know what this is. I don't know the fundamentals on this. I don't care. I'm just analyzing a chart. The chart says that historically we have this range going all the way back to 2022, right? So we have over 2 years of data saying that we trade in between the high and the low. Now we're forming a rounded bottom below the low. So if this is legit, and this is really accumulating down here, and it's just a bullish deviation below the range, and then we come back inside the range, that means the probabilities are pretty high we come back to the top of the range. And it gives us a really good risk to reward ratio. But we're front running the move above the level. So that's fine. If you're doing it on spot, you can't get liquidated. But a better, I'd say a more confirmation would be to wait for something like this. Right? Wait for us to reclaim, backtest, and then once we show that what used to be resistance is now support, it's a similar risk to reward ratio. But it's up to you. I mean, if you're doing it on spot and you're bullish on it, nothing wrong with buying low. I mean, we take this thing, I mean, when we just look at it objectively, you know, we're buying low, right? We're buying low. Is this not the most boring? Come on, Bitcoin. All right, shout out to CIS, who's watching me and finishing leg day. That's what's up. That's what's up. Preparing for war says wick down is coming, I think. I mean, I feel like it has to at this point. I mean, grinding down at this support, I would be very surprised if we don't get that final wick into the box, but let's see. We're building liquidity at these lows, right? So we got stop losses under here. Let's check out the order flow again. We have some shorts opening up here. You know, we have some bullish CVD forming here. Do I do pull-ups? Heck yeah. It's rare that I go a day without doing 100 pull-ups at least. 100 a day keeps the lat spread from looking gay. Alright, because there's nothing more feminine than small lats. Alright? You want that V taper? Gotta do those pull-ups and those chin-ups. Learning with Aaron likes egg. Is that a coin, or do you legitimately like to eat eggs? What's the indicator I was looking at? That is ExoCharts. ExoCharts, and also I use Coinalyze, which is a free version, which looks to me like it's a little bit confused here. Yeah, because I'm not logged in. But Coinalyze is free, and you can get kind of the same data there. Shout out to Rady El Gallo. Sing the dump song. Should we do the dump song? Any new Bible stuff? What do you mean, any new Bible stuff? Do I have any new Bible stuff? Not really. Besides the scroll. Besides the scroll, I don't really have any new Bible stuff. Well, actually, that's not true. I did get a, actually, my wife gifted me with a, an interesting polyglot, which has the Hebrew and the Greek Septuagint side by side, along with also the English and the French, which I can't read French at all. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to my wife, BigWest28. Do I remember my first video? I think it was... Well, I did make videos for a while, like back in 2017, when I was just like excited about Bitcoin in general. I think the oldest video on my channel is telling people don't sell your Bitcoin after we dumped from 20K down to like 12K or something. Why is the market slow today? Did I buy a Trump Bible? Nah. And yeah, I don't do 100 pull-ups in one set. Heck no. Heck no. I do it in like maybe 5 or 6 sets throughout the day. Alright, well, Dave Digital, hey, if you just started doing pull-ups, then, you know, hey, everyone has to start somewhere. There was a period in my life where I couldn't even do a dead hang from a bar, alright? Alright, I'll be right back, guys. My parents are leaving. I gotta say goodbye to them. I'll be right back, alright? No, Alright, y'all, we're back, baby. Alright, shout out to Dave Digital. Took a break from trading from a month. Now I don't have the confidence to start again. How do I get back into it? I would just start with smaller amounts of capital, man. That's what I would do. Weirdest cycle so far, says JRod420. First got my feet wet in 2016. I was buying Bitcoin to purchase cannabis seeds online. I got like $250 worth of Bitcoin, around 3K. However, lost the seed phrase. Dang. Curtis found my channel when I was chatting with CryptoFace. That's what's up. My oldest video that I have on YouTube is a video of me basically going through all the historic Bitcoin crashes and telling people that not to be concerned about this crash, because historically speaking, everyone who ever bought the top of Bitcoin ended up eventually in profit, in massive profit. Now, this was back in 2018 when I made the video. So shout out to Dave Digital. Dave Digital. Alpha V. Shout out to Alpha V. Alpha V says, you were learning about Islam. I told you to look into Christianity. You like the forgiveness, but I don't know if I can believe in Jesus Christ as a God. Well, he's not a God. He's the God. That's the thing. He's the God in the flesh. So Christian doctrine is that there's one God. And he's powerful enough to enter his creation in a human body. Because he's God. He can do anything. Is that so crazy to believe? And then in that body, he dealt with sin. He condemned sin in the flesh and defeated death in the flesh when he was crucified. And when he rose from the dead, he showed that, yeah, he defeated death, he defeated sin. And now if we put our faith in him, he gives us the power to become children of God by causing us to be born again, filling us with his Holy Spirit, causing us to be a new creation. It's not an intellectual assent. It's a spiritual reality that happens to a person when they're born again. But look, if we're gonna read the Bible and take the Bible for what it actually says, then according to the Hebrew scriptures, one of the criteria for the Messiah is that he himself is God in the flesh. You know, we go to the prophet Isaiah in chapter 9, verse 6. It says that the Son who is given to us is called El Gibor in Hebrew, the mighty God. The mighty God, a phrase that is only ever used for the one true God throughout the Bible. The Son is given that title. And according to Jeremiah, in chapter 23, verse 6, around there, somewhere around there, chapter 23, verses 5, 6, 7, 8, around there, it says the name of the Messiah is the divine name of the Creator God. Jehovah, Yahweh. The Messiah takes on the name of the one Creator God. And so when John opens up the gospel of Jesus Christ, according to John the Apostle, he says that, you know, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. And then he goes on to say that Jesus is the one that created everything. And then eventually he goes on to say, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So, if you, I mean, you know, obviously, a person could accept or reject what the scripture says, but if you're going to take it for what it does say, then it's very consistent throughout all the prophets that Jesus is God. Is Jesus the Messiah for the people in Israel? Jesus is the Messiah for the whole world, but primarily, see, here's the thing about the message of Jesus. It's primarily for the descendants of Israel because God made covenants with those specific people. But it's through the covenants that God made with Israel that the whole world can be saved and brought into the family, right? That's why when you read the epistles in the New Testament, it says that the good news of Jesus is for the Jew first and also for the non-Jew. Because the scriptures are based in the history of Israel and the covenants that God made with Israel. So salvation comes through the covenants that God made with Israel. Salvation, which means the ability to be born again and be saved from our sinful existence, that itself comes through the covenants that God made with Israel. What's happening with this trade right now? Well, I'm waiting for my targets to be hit to the downside. That's what I'm waiting for. If we get a little bit of bounce from here, let's say we get a little bit of bounce from here to backtest this, right? Then it makes a long from this area much more enticing to me. makes it much more enticing to me. Where's the energy? Oh, well, we're a half out. We're an hour and a half in. Bitcoin's boring. It's tough. You know? It's tough. It's tough. So look, do I support Israel? I mean, look, here's the deal. All governments are evil. All right? All governments are evil. All conflict, all war are between systems of government and ideology that reject God, that are anti-Christ. And at the end of the day, all humans are in the same exact boat. We are sinful. We have fallen. We are separated from God through our sin. And so God cared about us so much. He desired relationship with us. He loved us so much that he himself took on flesh. He condescended to our level to deal with the issue. The issue is sin. All right? All humans have the same problem. And for all humanity, there's the same solution, which is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus the Messiah, who paid the penalty of sin and defeated death so that we have the hope of a new birth, becoming a new creation, and having eternal life. Now, God did this through a specific group of people known as Israel. Historically, if we look at Israel, God deals with them the same way he deals with every other nation. When they sin, he deals with their sin by judging them. When they do good, he blesses them. This is consistent with the way God treats all humanity. Read the Hebrew Bible. It's literally the story about how the Israelite people disobeyed God and were judged for it. All right? And so, I'm just going to spit it as blunt as it is. If Israel was following God, there would be no conflict going on right now. Right now, modern day Israel is in rebellion to God. All right? You have right now the conflict, you have two evil systems. All right? You have Islam, which is absolutely evil. And then you have modern secularism, the gay capital of the world in Israel, right? Both are sinful, both are separated from God, both are anti-Christ, and they're both in need of the same solution. All right? I myself, being of Jewish descent, all right? I say this as somebody who has Jewish blood in me, all right? Now look, this does not change the fact that God decided to bring salvation to the whole world through Abraham and his descendants. All right? When God's people fail to obey God, this does not take away the promises that God made to humanity, right? God chose Israel in order to bring about the Messiah, in order to save humanity from the problem that plagues us all. Now, the New Testament scriptures and the Old Testament scriptures make it very clear that just because you are part of the physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, this does not mean you have a place in the world to come. Go back to the Torah. Most of Israel, after the Exodus, did not make it into the Promised Land. Only 2. All right? Look at Korah in the wilderness. All right? He was a Levite. Because he rejected the God-sent Redeemer, Moses, the earth opened up and swallowed him and his whole family whole into Sheol, alive. All right? The gospel transcends genealogy. It transcends race. It transcends people groups because we're all in the same boat. But the reality is God chose a very specific people in order to bring about the Messiah, because Abraham was faithful to God and Isaac and Jacob are faithful to God, because King David was faithful to God, God said, I promise that I will bring the Messiah through your descendants. And that's exactly what he did. And he used, historically, and is still using, the physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to preserve the scriptures, to preserve the fear of God. And he still has very specific promises to them in the end times that he's going to open up their eyes to see the reality of who their Messiah really is. All right? Zechariah the prophet prophesies. This is the time around the Second Temple, right? Prophesies that in the last days, Israel as a nation is going to be in a situation where they have nowhere else to turn. Every earthly resource they have is going to be taken away from them. And it says at that time, God is going to pour upon them a spirit of grace and supplication. And they're going to look upon God whom they pierced, whom they killed. They're going to look upon God whom they killed. And they are going to mourn for him as one mourns for an only son. And it says, in that day, a great fountain of cleansing will be opened up for the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem for the forgiveness of sins. So there are still future promises of a special grace being extended to the physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And God has very specific promises that he made to them that he will fulfill. And just because some of them don't believe doesn't mean God's promises have been made void, as Paul says in Romans 9, 10, and 11. In fact, God will perform his word in spite of disbelief, in spite of disobedience. This is, just go read the entirety of the scripture for proof of this, right? God uses imperfect people who are sinful to fulfill his purposes, all right? And so when people talk about, do I support Israel? Do I support this and that? I don't support any governments, all right? All governments are corrupt. All of them. They're corrupt. All people are corrupt. There's no God's government, no God's army, none of that. All right? You're either a person in covenant with God or you're not. And it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. Right? I still have 1,500 people watching. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. That's amazing. What is my viewpoint on Gnosticism? What flavor of Gnosticism? Are we talking about like Christian Gnosticism? Like Gnosticism that the apostles were dealing with and that like the early apostolic fathers were dealing with? Or like modern day Gnosticism? I would be a Gnostic, I would say this, like, if I had to choose between three worldviews, the three most appealing to me are Gnosticism and like the esoteric spirituality, or straight up nihilism, or the Christian worldview. Obviously, I hold to the Christian worldview. Jim and Diction, you believe there's only one God, but humans have divided into different religions. At the end, the core teachings are the same. I would disagree with that. Just because, Jesus, what sets Jesus apart from every other faith is the fact that, in every other faith, the responsibility relies on you as the individual to do the work, to try and achieve something, right? Like in Hinduism, you have to somehow break out of the reincarnation cycle to eventually become one with everything. So the responsibility lies on you, which is very difficult because even in Hinduism, they would agree that humanity has a an evil inclination that we need to somehow break free from, but the responsibility is on you. Eastern religions, you have to do the work to somehow achieve something on your own. Islam, Judaism, modern day Judaism, right? You got to do good stuff, and then maybe God will let you into the good part of the afterlife, right? But it still relies on you. Faith in Jesus is God himself says, I know you can't do it, so I'm going to do what's necessary to cause you to be a new creation so that you actually can do it, right? That's the promise of the new covenant in Scripture, where God promises to give us a new heart and put a new spirit inside of us so that we actually can and want to walk in his ways, because we're a new creation, not one that's bent on sin. And sin is simply just when creation is not operating in the way it was created to operate, right? The sun was created to come up in the morning and go down at night. If the sun stopped doing that, the sun would be sinning. Humans were created to reflect God on the earth in his character, in his desires. So when we're not reflecting him, that is sin, what we know as sin, right? Now, left to our own devices, we are full of sin. We are not operating the way we were created to operate. So God himself said, I have a solution. I'm going to deal with sin by taking on sinful flesh and living a sinless life. And then that flesh is going to die in place of your flesh. And then I will rise from the dead, so you also can rise from the dead. What does it mean to be born again? Well, I mean, in John chapter 3, Jesus explains it as something that happens to a person when they are indwelt with the Holy Spirit of God. It's a complete change in your desires, in your outlook on life. Where, like I said before, the sinful things that you once desired, you no longer desire. And you desire the things of God. Which, like I wish I could be more specific than that, but it literally is something you need to experience, right? Are we really going to bounce from here? Look, if we bounce from here, guys, I expect this. This is really what I expect. Jesus likens it to the wind. He says, you cannot see the wind. You don't know where the wind came from, necessarily, if you're just outside. But you can see it work because you see stuff blow by. You see the leaves blow by. You see the trees move in the wind. You can see the work of the wind, but you can't see it. It's the same with the Spirit. You can't see it, but you can see the effect that it has on people. You can see the effect that it has on your own life. All right, Nirvana Replica says, stop this nonsense. All right, well, look, I mean, it's my live stream, bro. You know, for me, like I say all the time, my relationship with Jesus is the most important thing in my life. Like, more important than trading, more important than YouTube. So if people want to discuss it, I'm always open to discuss, man. I usually take different SFPs. Why not now? Is this an SFP? It's not an SFP. Not in my mind. I'm waiting for this SFP. You know, we don't have bullish divergences. I'm waiting for that other SFP. What speed do I walk in the treadmill? Right now, 2.8 miles per hour. We have 1 hour green dot. What's this channel about again? Honestly, it's about a whole bunch of stuff. Homesteading, Jesus, trading, fitness, whole bunch of stuff. All right, we have a 1 hour green dot. Yep, all right, cool. So here's what we're looking for, guys. Let's pull our fibs. All right. we are looking for a back test, in my opinion. Well, we don't even have bearish market structure. We haven't even taken this low yet. So if we bounce from here, it will honestly be a surprise to me. This will be a surprise to me. I would like to see us come lower and at least take out this low. But maybe this is the bottom. How many calories have I burnt? I don't know. Alright, shout out to Adrian the expat. He says the people in the land. Alright, I mean, you know, look, this is the dumbest thing in the world. Alright, I mean that respectfully. Alright, I mean this respectfully. First of all, you have to understand that if we're going to take the scripture literally, then we know that the people of the land were scattered into all the nations. All of the nations. All right. That includes Europe. That includes South America. That includes Africa. That includes the Middle East. Secondly, to say that Yeshua is not Jewish, he's an Israelite, this contradicts what the Bible says about him. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Of course he's Jewish. He's from the tribe of Judah. Go back to Genesis chapter 49. It says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the kingship from between his knees until the Messiah comes. King David is from the tribe of Judah, and God promises that the Messiah would come through King David. So yeah, Jesus is from the tribe of Judah. But I thank you for your super chat, but I mean, unless you want to deny what the Bible says, which is fine, all right? I forget that some people make up their own, which is fine. I don't care what you want to make up, right? You want to make up your own beliefs. The historical documents that we have about Jesus' genealogy say that he's from Judah. And guess where the word Jewish comes from? The name Judah, which means to praise. Right? That makes Christians Jews. A lot of Christians are Jews, right? Being a descendant of Judah means that you're ethnically Jewish. And if you're ethnically Jewish and you believe in Jesus as the Messiah, then you're still Jewish, just like Jesus was Jewish according to the flesh. Right? But if you're not Jewish and you believe in Jesus the Messiah, then yeah, you're grafted into God's family. You're grafted into God's family. My man Car says Jesus was a Muslim. I remember you were here last time. How do you know Jesus is a Muslim? I'm curious. Why do you say Jesus was a Muslim? What's your proof? I am curious. Why was Jesus a Muslim? How do you become born again? You simply just surrender everything to God. Surrender everything to Jesus. I mean, that's when it happened to me. I came literally to the end of myself. And I said, Jesus, I know I cannot do this on my own. I know I need your help. And from that point on, I was a completely different person. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Judas, his name is also Judah. Judas' name is Judah. The one who betrayed Jesus, his name is Judah. Just like how, if you read the story of Joseph, himself being a foreshadow of the Messiah, betrayed by his brothers, sold for silver, descended down into the pit, rose up from the pit, and sat at the right hand of Pharaoh, where he essentially functioned as king of the known world at the time. and his brothers didn't recognize him because they thought he was an Egyptian king. But anyway, yeah, it was the brother Judah who actually sold Joseph as well. Yeah, when you look at when you dig into the scripture, there's so many connections and interesting things you could look at. Why do I think Islam is false? You know, I've gone into intense detail, but the main 2 points why I think Islam is false is because Muhammad contradicts all the other prophets. All of them. All the other prophets promise that God will send his son, who himself is God, to pay for the sins of humanity. And then the Injil comes along with the same message, and then Muhammad contradicts it. So I have to reject it. It contradicts it. If God gives a revelation and he says, if anyone contradicts this revelation, you know he's a false prophet, and then a prophet comes along and contradicts the message, you know he's a false prophet. That's the main reason why I reject Islam. Secondly, well, I don't even have to go into any more reasons, but that's the main reason, honestly. That's the main reason. Man, the chat's getting heated. If I say mostly Christians or Jews, why are Jews spitting out when they see a cross? Well, here's the thing. Just because you're ethnically Jewish doesn't mean you believe that Jesus is the Jewish Messiah, right? So modern day Judaism is very different from Judaism as it existed when there was a temple, right? So they invented a new religion. Modern day Judaism is very foreign to what the Torah says. Why? Because having a temple is central to ancient Judaism, right? So after the temple was destroyed, they have to invent a new religion, which basically says now through prayer and good deeds and giving to charity, we can make ourselves right with God. And modern day Mishnaic Judaism, in my opinion, is a man-made religion, right? But go back to the first century. All the early followers of Jesus were Jewish. All of them, right? And even to this day, there's a lot of Jewish people who follow Jesus and they know that Jesus is the Messiah, right? So it's not because how do I say this? You have to separate a religious ideology from an ethnicity, right? You can be a Jewish Muslim because being Jewish is the same as being African or something, or Lebanese, or Syrian, right? You're descended from a certain group of people. If you're Jewish, it means you descended from Judah, right? Just because someone has a certain ethnicity, they could follow whatever religion they want to, right? You could be a Jewish Muslim. You could be a Jewish Hindu. Just like you could be an American Muslim or an American Hindu. You get what I'm saying? So if you're descendants of Judah and you practice modern day Judaism, that religion is anti-Christ, right? Just like Islam is also anti-Christ. See, here's the difference between Judaism and Islam. Judaism hates the real Jesus, and Islam loves a fake Jesus. Judaism hates the real Jesus, the one who claimed to be God and who claimed to be the Messiah. And Islam loves a fake Jesus who was not crucified and who didn't claim to be God, right? That's the big difference. But either way, they're both anti-Christ systems because they both deny the biblical Jesus and the biblical Messiah. They both deny the scriptures. We got our super chats in here. Am I Eastern Orthodox? I'm not. I'm not Eastern Orthodox. People keep saying Jesus is Muslim. How do we know Jesus is Muslim? I'm really interested. How do we know Jesus was a Muslim? What did Jesus say or teach that makes you think he was a Muslim? Do you think Jesus took his Shahada? Do you think Jesus said there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger? Do you think Jesus said what makes him a Muslim? Shout out to Crypto Talk. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Shout out to Gym Addiction. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I'm from the Church of Uneven Butt Cheeks, yeah. All right, shout out to Ratty El Gallo. Do I think Jesus approves of crypto gambling? I don't know. Why don't you open up the scriptures and show me where Jesus talks about gambling? All right, Bob is an atheist. God is a demon to me, like all the old gods. Okay. What do you mean? Like, does that mean you believe in the gods as spiritual beings, or you don't believe in any? You think they're all fairy tales? If a Muslim means one who submits to God, the word Muslim literally means one who submits to the will of God. Well, in that case, aren't I a Muslim? Because I submit to the will of God. In fact, anybody from any religion is submitting to the will of their God. Wouldn't that make me a Muslim as well? All right, people keep saying Jesus is a Muslim. I'm curious, how do we know? How do we know Jesus was a Muslim? I would like to know, actually. I'm not even kidding. I would like to know. Some guy keeps saying Jesus is Muslim, but I want to know why. Why? How can you say that? How do you know he's not a Hindu? How do you know Jesus isn't a Hindu? Like, what evidence is there that Jesus was a Muslim? Can you show me from his teachings that he was a Muslim? What's my favorite prayer? My favorite pre-written prayer or prayer from my heart? Jesus is a Mexican, says Jacob the Amish. Yeah, you ain't wrong. Alright, I can't. Alright, we bouncing or we dumping? What's going on here with the Bitcoin? My favorite pre-written prayer? Well, to be honest with you, the only pre-written prayers I really know are Hebrew prayers, the Lord's Prayer, and that's about it. Well, if I have to be honest with you, my favorite prayer is called Adon Olam. It's a Hebrew prayer. And I like it a lot because there's a part, it says that he is my God, my living Redeemer, my rock. I trust in him in times of my distress. And he's my banner, and he's my miracle, and he fills up my cup on the day that I call upon him. And I really like that prayer. Are we making a bull flag on the 1 minute? Oh, okay. Smoothie says, finally, someone telling me why they know Jesus was a Muslim. It's because in Matthew 26:39, Jesus fell on his face and prayed the same way a Muslim would pray. All right. Let's go check it out, because I'm ready to convert. Oh, okay. So, going a little further, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, "My Father." Wait a second. Muslims don't pray to Allah and call him my Father. That's really strange. That's weird. And let's go to John 11. This is when Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead. Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead. He looked up and said, "Father." All right? So Jesus looks up when he prays sometimes and says, "Father." And other times he falls on his face and says, "Father." So in both instances, I don't know, that sounds a little not Muslim to me. I don't know. Shout out to American Nazarite. He says Yeshua, Jesus, was Jewish in his earthly life. Scripture makes this abundantly clear. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Aura Maxing, I see your very capital letters. I don't know what you said in the chat, because there's a lot of chats. Maybe you could try to say it again. I'm scrolling up to try and find it right now. Alright, so Karakar, it says, "It's not easy to know Jesus was a Muslim. You have to research for yourself, and wishes me luck." It's not easy to know, probably because he prays by looking up and calls God his Father, which is very non-Muslim, but yeah, I know, or I know that in Islam you guys consider Isa to be one of the greatest prophets in Islam. I know. I'm aware. Thank you for that. Alright, let's check Axel USDT. Yeah, Aura Maxing, I know what Islam teaches about Jesus. This is why I reject Islam. Because Islam makes up a fake Jesus, right? That's why I reject it. It makes up a non-historical Jesus. Just makes it up. Like, I could make up a fake Muhammad right now. Like, as a Christian, I believe in Muhammad, but the true Muhammad, what I believe, he was a polytheist, he was a Hindu. Muhammad was a Hindu. But I love Muhammad. I believe he was the messenger from God. I believe he received the Quran. But I also believe he's a Hindu. See, I just made up a fake Muhammad. Some things about the Muhammad I believe are true. But other things I just made up, which means I believe in a fake Muhammad. If I believe in a Hindu Muhammad, I believe in a fake Muhammad. If you believe in a Jesus that isn't God, you believe in a fake Jesus. All right, let's take a look at... Hang on, I gotta find what coin are we looking at? Was it a super chat? Yeah, okay, Axel AR. Axel USDT. Let's check it out. Well, it's pumping, man, that's for sure. I think we looked at this a few days ago. So it really is pumping. And breaking out of this resistance right here. So the only way how I would look at this now is I would take a look at all the volume that we have here. And I would look for a pullback. I know this. I know people hate when I say wait for the pullback, but honestly, how juicy does this look? If we get a pullback, this would be so beautiful. And if we don't get a pullback, then the only local place we could look to get in on this thing would be trading this as a range, which we might have already missed the opportunity because we did have a little swing failure pattern of the lows. But if we pull a fib like this, maybe it's tough. You know, it depends how aggressive you want to be. If you think this thing's mooning, you got to look for any pullback that you can get here. But the best level to me would be to come back and backtest this historic support resistance flip at these old highs. Take out the liquidity from last week, you know? That's what I would be looking for, to be honest with you. All right, shout out to the super chat. Can you check Turbo? Yeah, let's check out Turbo. Thank you so much for the super chat. Man, well, look, Turbo is looking the same as it was looking on Tuesday last week. So a beautiful opportunity for Turbo would be to come back down to retest this key level, support resistance flip, trendline breakout, golden pocket, value area high, take the liquidity from 8,350. I mean, if this isn't a good opportunity, I don't know what is. In maintaining with the uptrend here, right? Ever since we made our low, higher low, higher low, higher low, the trend is your friend. This is looking really nice for Turbo, you know? Shout out to Jay-Z. Yeah, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Amen. Amen. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Look, here's the deal. I don't care what people believe. You can believe whatever you want. That's fine with me. I really do respect all people's views, and I mean that with all my heart. For me, Jesus changed my life, so I'm very passionate about my relationship with Jesus. And sometimes I just can't help but talk about it. But if you have a different opinion than me, I'm happy. I'm happy. Since I'm convicted that what I believe is true about Jesus because he's changed my life. That's why I talk about it, right? Because I can't get over the fact that, you know, before I believed in Jesus, I was a nihilist. I believed everything was completely pointless. And I always hated it when people would... Never mind, I'm not even going to go there. But just the fact that now I know that there's a God who actually knows about me, cares about me, created me, and actually cared about me so much that he actually came down to my level in order to make it possible for me to have a relationship with him and to be born again and to be filled with his spirit, to live a life of purpose and meaning and joy and fulfillment. You know, sometimes I just can't help but talk about that. But if you don't believe that, you know, I have no kind of negative thoughts. And if I came off that way, then I apologize, okay? Why did the Bible lie about Jesus' birthday? Have you ever read the Bible, Burl Horse? I mean, come on, man. What kind of question is that? It doesn't tell us when Jesus was born in the Bible. Well, he definitely was not born on December 25th. We know that for sure. What are the two indicator names I used? Open interest and CVD. Open interest and CVD. Okay, so interesting, guys. We had a little bit of bearish divergence here. Now we have actually some longs opening up. We have some positive delta. Wow. 7 million longs. 7 million, 8, 9 million. 9 million longs here. All right, we actually have some trap shorts. We have a few trap shorts. And 7 million longs. This could be a move to the upside, guys. Honestly, I know I was waiting for lower, but right now we have new data which says there's trapped longs, and now buyers coming in. So my plan remains the same. I'm still gonna wait for lower and see what happens here, but this is something that we did not see a while ago. All right. Five-minute time frame looking great. Let's check out the 5 minute. Yeah, 5 minutes looking good. I mean, look, if this is confirmation for you to trade, don't let me not long in here hinder you. I'm already in 3 long trades, so I'm in no rush to long unless we come down to my plan. All right, so. All right, Bullish on Parade says we're going up, baby. It really does look like it. It really does look like it. Which Christian denomination do I follow? I follow Christ. All right, I follow Jesus to the best of my abilities. And which version of the Bible do I read? Well, I'm a huge Hebrew nerd, so I love to read the Hebrew Bible. And I love to study the Bible from as much as I can, even the most ancient Hebrew manuscripts that we have from the Dead Sea. That's always really fun. And I've been learning Greek now for quite some time, so I also enjoy reading from my Texas Receptus printed edition. So there you go. I don't have a favorite English translation. I really don't. Because being a Hebrew nerd, I don't like sticking to an English translation, you know? They're good, don't get me wrong, they're good translations, but I'd rather read it in the original language. If I had to pick an English version when I'm reading the New Testament from the Greek, since I'm not proficient in Greek, I've only been doing it for a little while compared to, I've been studying Hebrew for over 11 years. It's hard to say. Maybe the Maybe the NASB. I don't know. The correct answer is the ESV. What's funny, BR Rounder, is I hate the ESV more than any other English translation, simply because they translate things kind of backwards, I guess. Like, it makes it really difficult to follow along. If you're reading it in the original languages, the ESV is really hard to follow along. King James is good, but especially if you're reading the Textus Receptus, then the King James obviously is going by the TR. For the most part. All right. And then, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the ESV. Yeah, I know. NASB is critical text. But here's the thing: for 99.9%, it's the exact same, right? There. So you can follow along the TR and the NASB fine, you know. You're a Koine reader and you like the ESV? That's interesting. Well, maybe my qualms are mostly for the Hebrew, all right, since I'm a Hebrew nerd, and I'm very, compared to Hebrew, not fluent in Koine. Can I win a discussion with Ben Shapiro? I don't know. Don't know. Lasers likes the King James. I like the King James. I don't have a limit order currently here. The open orders that I have right now are a stop loss and a take profit. I have a stop loss and a take profit. So these are both having to do with the current trade I'm in. But I'm ready to open up a $158,000 long, potentially if we get another move down into this box. So I'm ready to mark it in. All right. How's the decentralized exchange coming along? Great. It's great. Talk Hebrew to you? Shalom. Shalom achi, ma shlomcha? Hakol tov? Ma shemcha? King Soak, did I even thank you for the super chat? What was your super chat, bro? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Look, I really apologize for that. Well, thank you for the super chat, both of them, the €5 and the $2 euro. Am I Eastern Orthodox? I am not. And greetings from Greece. You should visit the Holy Mount. I would love to do that. I would really love to do that. Sorry for overlooking your super chat. I really apologize for that. It was not my intention, but thank you so much for both super chats. I really appreciate it. Do I use any prop firms? I do not. Right now we're testing a spider line. Do I have a tattoo about religion? Yeah, I have a tattoo that says, "Thou shalt not print any marks upon you." Just kidding. I don't have that tattoo. How did I get in that short position? The short position was simply this naked daily point of control that we had up here last night with bearish divs. And this is, you know, I mean, we've been, this is a level we were ready for in the Casper crew, like a long time ago on Friday. We were ready for it. So that level at 69,525, the naked daily point of control, basically the three levels I was looking to trade, right? The three trades I was looking for on Friday, you know, one of them played out. I let everyone know that I shorted that one and then hit the TP at the VWAP. Then that one got stopped out. That was the one that you guys saw me in on Friday morning, where I made about $1,000 on it. That was this one right here. And then this one that I'm currently in was from that naked point of control. And I have a pretty crappy entry because actually you can see it. I shorted ETH actually by accident. This is actually, I'm sorry, this was the Bitcoin trade. This was the ETH trade. I shorted ETH instead of Bitcoin by accident, and then when I realized what I'd done, I closed out the ETH trade and entered into a Bitcoin trade. I should have kept the ETH trade open, but I was flopping and groping, right? So we're starting to get a little move back to the upside. Right now, resistance is going to be this. All right, let's check out the TPO chart. Let's check out the TPO. Because we probably have some single prints. Yeah, so we have some single prints that will be filled at 68,012. All right, so 68,012. Let's put that on our chart. 68,012. That's single prints to be filled. Yeah, so basically we are looking for a potential back test right now of 6812. Let's pull a fib. Let's pull a fib. Yeah. Yep. We're looking for a back test into this area for potentially now coming down to get our bullish divs. That would be quite nice if we get that. And you guys can't even see what I'm doing, so let me go and put it back on the chart. 68,612. 68,012. This white line, this is going to be our first resistance. But who knows? We might pump. I mean, we still have. Let's check it out. We have still a bunch of shorts actually that opened up that are trapped. We have trapped shorts, bullish CVD. Those shorts are still open. And then we have like 9 million longs coming in, so wow, yeah. Look at all these shorts. When you look at the net shorts, I would be cautious shorting actually until we wreck these shorts. Let's wreck those shorts first. We're pretty, in my opinion, this looks like it's gearing up for a squeeze to the upside. And I would look to come up to our at least 68,012. And then we'll have to reassess the sitch because that is support resistance flip, right? From our old range low. Also a golden pocket. Time to rip after the small dip. You use and read the complete Jewish Bible. I'm not a fan. But I appreciate it as a translation. It can help get across certain understandings, which I find to be beneficial. $70K tomorrow. That would be crazy. All right. You know, look. Have I checked out the complete Jewish Bible? Yeah, I think I have one on my desk. Let me check. Yeah, I've got one right here, actually. I'm not really a fan of it, to be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of it, but I understand why some people would want to use it. Shout out to American Nazarite. He says, Toda Rabbah for the service you do. Thanks for demystifying crypto for new people like me. I didn't get into it until I came across you. Well, God bless you, American Nazarite. I appreciate that. The kind words, and thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that as well. Shout out to catching whales. Well, thank God for that. I mean, that's what I try to do. So obviously, we all have incomplete understandings of things, but that's really what I try to do, right? I just try and keep it according to what the scripture says. Vote Republican or your grandchildren will resent you. Brohouse wants to know, why is Christmas such a big thing? It's just cultural. It's just cultural. That's literally why. You know, It, actually in the United States, the first European settlers here in like the 1500s, 1600s, they did not celebrate Christmas. In fact, it was illegal. Christmas didn't really become popular in America until after World War II. There were a lot of Catholics that came here and they celebrate Christmas. And then basically after World War II, like Christmas became completely like a commercialized secular holiday, in my view. Not that I think there's anything wrong with celebrating the birth of the Messiah. We should always be super thankful that the Messiah came and that he was born. For sure. But yeah, it's just cultural, honestly. And, there are different dates that people have to celebrate it also. Like, not everyone celebrates it on the 25th of December. I'm pretty sure the Orthodox do it on the 6th of January, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, because I'm not Orthodox. Alright? Orthodox is a huge minority here in the United States. Orthodox Christianity, I mean. Any giveaways today? Yeah, we did do a giveaway. We gave away $500. How much do you pay for exocharts? Not very much. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap. Yeah. T-Bait says, I watched a video of how Coca-Cola invented Santa in order to sell more during the winter. Yeah, for sure. Like, very commercial. The baby boomer generation. Think about it. All the Christmas songs are from, like, the 40s and 50s and 60s because our modern-day American Christmas is a product of the baby boomer generation. After World War II, everyone was happy to be together, making lots of babies. They want to give their kids a good life. You can see how it happened. Muhammad slept with a 10-year-old. That's not true, Merc. She was 9. Come on, bro. Would I agree that Christmas is a celebration of one of the capital sins? I think it depends, right? What's interesting, Ariel Mora, is I grew up in a very diverse area as a child, right? Extremely diverse on the East Coast, in the suburbs of New York City, where, I was, having white skin is minority. Let's just put it that way. All right. And everybody celebrated Christmas. I knew Hindus who celebrated Christmas. I knew atheists who celebrate Christmas, as many of them do today, right? But I also knew Christians who celebrated Christmas, and they made it very Christ-centered, right? So, I really think it depends on how a person engages with the celebration that determines whether or not it's a celebration of worldliness or a celebration of what God did to redeem humanity. I don't think we can give a black and white answer for whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. The more I think about it, I don't think we can give a black and white, this is good or this is bad. I really think it depends on how a person partakes in the festivities in their own life, right? Is Elon Musk the Antichrist? I don't think so. I mean, who knows? I don't think so. Alright, so Vivek says that we celebrate Christmas and Christians celebrate Diwali in India. Interesting. You've heard Christians need to restrain themselves from sin. Yeah, so here's the deal with biblical faith in Jesus. So biblical faith in Jesus means that you're born again. You're a new creation. You're completely transformed. The desire that you have to sin is diminishing as time goes on. The desire that you have for drunkenness and other types of sins the Lord takes those away from you over time. It's a process called sanctification, which comes from the Latin to be made set apart. You're being made different from a human that is not born again. And there is also a call to live in holiness. Again, the word holiness meaning set apart. You're living differently than other people. But it's not something that you're doing because it's a drudge and you feel like, oh, I have to do this. You're doing it because you actually want to do it. Because the Lord has changed your heart to actually desire to do the things that please Him, right? And there will be times when you struggle with that. Absolutely. There will be times when you struggle with it. And so there is a battle that happens between the flesh, the body itself, which is still... which the body itself still does have sinful desires, right? Let's be honest. But then now there's something else inside of you now that's at war with those sinful desires. And so the walk with the Lord is a yielding of your sinful desires to the Spirit of God that indwells within you. And over time, whichever side you feed is the side that's going to dictate your life. That's why it's so important to be in prayer, to be in the Scripture, to be in fellowship with other believers, and be listening to God's voice as He speaks to you. How long have I been trading? I've been trading seriously since 2018. I've been trading profitably since 2020. Because it took me about 3 years to get my stuff together. What's the narrative of the 3 kings and Bethlehem? Well, we don't know if there were 3 kings. There were some wise men from the east who somehow knew that the Messiah was going to be born, and so they came to bring gifts to Him and to worship Him. That's pretty much it. But then over time, it's kind of tradition says there were 3 of them, because they brought 3 gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And so people say, well, there are 3 gifts, there must be 3 of them. We don't really know how many there were. And we don't even know if they came to Bethlehem or not. It doesn't even actually say that. It just says they came to the house where the child was. So why do you ask about that? Is trading or investing equal to gambling? No. It's not, because here's the deal, right? With trading, you get to determine the probabilities of every trade you take. All right. If you gamble and you pull a slot machine, you have no control over the probabilities of whether or not you win. All right. You're at the mercy of the casino, who probably rigged that thing to go hit a jackpot once every X amount of times, because the casino is practicing risk management. The casino knows people are going to win, and so the casino's job is to make sure that their losses are less than their wins. They want to make sure that the person playing the slot machine, when he wins, it's not going to take money away from the casino over the big picture, right? When you're trading, you're the casino. You get to decide when you take a trade, and you get to decide the probabilities. When you pull a slot machine, the casino decided, all right, there's a 1 in 1,000 chance this guy's going to win. When you take a trade, you decide what are the probabilities, what's the risk to reward. So let's say we're looking for a trade like this, right? Let's just, as an example, all right? Just as an example. We're looking for this type of trade setup. Potentially looking at 4 different trades, all right? Or let's just say 3 trades, all right? Let's just say 3 trades. Each one of these trades, we're risking 1 to make 5. We're risking $1 to make $5. What does that mean? It means if we have a 66% loss rate and a 33% win rate, we're still going to be overall profitable. We lost 2 and we made 5. We're in profit, all right? The last 3 trades I've taken, I lost a trade. I lost $500. But because the trades I take have good risk to reward ratios, and I'm always shooting for more than I'm looking to lose, looking to make more than I'm looking to lose, you can see that with 1 loss and 2 wins, I'm massively in profit. Or even on this account here, all right? This account here, I'm taking losses, right? I'm taking losses, but when you calculate this all together, my wins are more than my losses, right? I have a $10,000 win. I take a few $2,000 losses. right? Then I have a $4,000 win, a $1,000 win, a $1,000 win, an $800 loss, a $4,000 win, and then two $500 losses. I'm the one deciding when to go in, and I'm setting up my trades so that my winners are going to be more than my losers. And when I lose, at the most, I'm only going to lose a certain amount of money, which is 1% of whatever you're trading with, right? It could be anywhere from 0.5 to 2% of your total stack, right? This means that if you have a strategy that you've backtested and you know that, for example, I know that if price comes to this level and market Cipher B looks like this, that I have a really high chance of a win, all right? When I took this trade on Friday, I took the trade from down here, all right? Back on Friday, or whenever it was. Whenever I took this trade, I took it live. Go back and watch. I took a loss and a win on the same day. I was risking a certain amount of money on the trade. The reason I took the trade is because market Cipher B told me that the probabilities of a move to the upside was very likely, right? So if you combine risk to reward, where you're always looking to make 5 and lose 1, with an indicator like, in my case, market Cipher, where you know when you see this, there's more than a 50% shot you're going to win. This is how you are profitable over time, and you yourself are being the casino. You decide the probability, you decide the risk to reward, you decide how much you're going to risk and how much you're looking to make. And so if you do this properly, think about it. Even if you're literally the worst trader in the world, let's say you have $100. You're the worst trader, you're a complete beginner in the world, right? Let's say that you're shooting for this type of trade, a 5-to-1 risk reward ratio, right? You take 6 trades, all right? 6. You lose 5 and you win 1. It's a pretty bad win rate, right? At the end of the day, you'd be about a break even. See how you can be really bad and still break even, or at least not blow your account? Trading is not gambling when done properly. What is gambling is not knowing what you're doing, using leverage when you don't know how to use leverage, thinking about, ooh, I heard this coin's gonna pump, let me buy a whole bunch. That's gambling, right? Because in that case, you don't know how much you're risking, you don't know where your target is, you don't know the probabilities. In that case, you're gambling. But there are certain things we can control when it comes to trading. We cannot control what the market does, but we can control abiding by good risk management. We can control choosing trades with good risk to reward ratios, and we can control choosing high probability setups that have a higher than 50% chance of playing out, right? If you know that every trade you take according to this one strategy has a 70% chance of working out, and you know that the trade you're going for is going to potentially make you 4 times more money than you're risking, and you're always looking for trades that have a 70% probability of going your way, and you're always looking to make 4 times more money than you're risking over time, if you get a little bit good at this, you can see how you could be profitable. And it's very different than gambling, all right? It's not a scratch-off lottery ticket. Shout out to Tom P. God bless you, Tom P. Is trading a sin? I don't think it is. I mean, if you feel convicted doing it, then, you know, that's between you and the Lord. But I don't think trading is a sin. Shout out to my man, Rajesh Sahani. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. Appreciate you. Do I swim? No, I don't swim. Christmas is a cash grab? Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Jay-Z, quoting Isaiah. They followed a star, they were astrologers. Yeah, that's true. That's true. How much money is reasonable to start trading? Yeah, You know, it really depends on you, right? You could start with as little or as much as you want. What's most important if you're starting to trade is that you learn the skill of trading. I mean, if I could go back to being in high school, I don't even know if this was, I mean, obviously crypto wasn't around in high school, but when I see young people that are interested in doing what I do, I sit them down and I say, look, if you learn how to do this, you will not have to have a job in your life. I tell them that. And I tell them, this is not even, I don't even want you to think about the money at all. I want you to learn how to do this, period. That's the most important thing. This is a skill, all right? It's a skill. To develop the discipline, to develop the risk management, to learn how markets move, to get the experience. Those things do take time. Once you have that skill set down, then the money becomes a non-issue, all right? Because if you start with $1,000 and you work that up to 10K and you work it up to 100K, now you could actually live off of that, all right? Depending on your financial needs. Which is better, XO web or desktop? The desktop is better, but I use the web one. All right, shout out to my man Zakir. He says, brother Jason, whatever source you got all your info about Islam is incorrect. Then I guess the Quran and the Hadiths, the Sahih Hadiths, are all incorrect. So I don't know what to say about that. I'm just going by the Quran and the Hadiths. Of course, I only read Sahih Hadiths. I don't read anything daif. What do I think about vector candles? I think they're good. You know, like, I personally am not, I don't use them, but I have the utmost respect and admiration for Tino and his system, even though I don't use it, because I know Tino is an amazing trader. Like, he's on a whole nother level, that dude, of trading, where he just has so much market intuition and so much experience. And his vector candles are very accurate. Like, when you see a vector candle, you can pretty much rest assured price is going to recover that at some point. But yeah, I just don't use them. But I think they're a great tool. Here's the thing about tools, though. At the end of the day, they're just that. They're tools. And there's a lot of different tools you can use to get the job done. There's a million ways to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tino is the man. You know? Do I ski or snowboard? No, I don't. Tino is an ADHD trader. I mean, that's what I like about Tino, honestly. And I rip him off sometimes when Price is doing crazy stuff. I also try and be like a horse race announcer. What's Tino's YouTube? Trader's Reality. Trader's Reality. Mr. Market Maker. Shout out to Tino. Is my Fibonacci tool on log settings? Usually no. I hope not, because I don't like to keep it on log mode. Yeah, I don't like to use it on log mode unless you're on log, like a log chart. In this case, I'm on a log chart, but it's too small time frame to matter. So yeah, I'm not using the Fibonacci on log scale. I am not. Do a challenge, go from 1K. You know, I did start that for a while back in the day, actually. But then the problem is this, and I'll be honest. Then it comes time to take a trade, and I don't trade on my real account. I trade on my small account, and I actually do want to make money, you know? But I know I have to do it. I will do it at some point. I will. Is risking 10% on a small capital with a 1 to 3 risk reward? It's up to you, man. Like, you have to know it is riskier. And so if you already know what you're doing, maybe go for that. But the truth is, if you're risking 10% and you're new, man, all it takes is 2 trades and you're on an uphill battle. I mean, you lose 20, you lose 30%, take 3 losses. Man, you know, you're down 30%. Lars says, I'm an Islamophobe. You think I'm scared of Islam? Is that what you're saying? Come on, man. Don't pull the woke card on me, all right? Don't pull the woke card calling me an Islamophobe, saying I'm scared of Islam. Look, I disagree with what the Quran says, right? So don't call me an Islamophobe. That's silly. Come on. Don't pull the woke card, Lars X. I know these terms about authentic hadith and Quran, but clearly haven't read anything. Okay. I mean, the people who follow my channel know that I know the Quran and the hadith. All right. We've literally spent hours on this channel reading the Quran and the hadith and tafsirs, going through, and so I don't know why you call me an Islamophobe. I've taken the time to read the Quran cover to cover multiple times, and I've taken the time to study the Sunnah of the Prophet, all right, the authoritative ones, because I want to make sure I have the right information, all right? And I've taken the time to read the tafsirs to see what the scholars have had to say over the years. And you call me an Islamophobe, pulling the woke card. Sheesh. Yeah, Muslims like to become liberals when they're offended. Sheesh, man. Shout out to Destin. Thank you. Happy Sukkot. All right. All right, we're getting a pullback here. We're either, I mean, obviously I would like to take the lows, guys. I would like to take the lows. So let's see if we can't do that. Let's see if we can't do that. That's true. I think our man Lars, he might be, well, I don't know if this, shout out to Caleb. I don't know if this is a good word. But yeah, it would be interesting to call anybody that disagrees with you a phobe of sorts. Is World War III going to happen? I think it will. All right. I hold to a futurist view of eschatology. I believe it will. What trading and risk management strategy should someone follow with $100? The same one that you should follow with $100,000, honestly. I'm a firm believer that everyone should trade the same way. However you trade like with small money is how you're going to trade like with big money. If you gamble away your $100 because you think, it's only $100, that same behavior is going to follow you into gambling away $100,000. All right, I guarantee it, man. I guarantee it. What's my biggest disagreement with the Quran? My biggest disagreement with the Quran is that you have the Torah, you have the prophets, you have the gospel, and they all have a cohesive message, which is that man is sinful, but yet God promises to send a son who himself is God, who will be killed for the sin of humanity, who will rise from the dead, and who will come back to be king over the earth. All right. Then 600 years later, you have Muhammad come along and say, Jesus didn't die on the cross. Jesus wasn't God. Right? So it's an inconsistent message. You have God establishing something to be true, and then later you have a prophet come along who contradicts the message that the previous prophets gave. And to make things even worse, the Quran claims to affirm the message of the previous prophets. And the Quran claims to affirm the message of the gospel. But yet it contradicts. So I cannot even begin to take Islam seriously. The same way a Muslim wouldn't begin to take me seriously if I came along and I said, I'm a prophet from God. I have a new revelation from God. I'm here to confirm the Quran. My revelation confirms your Quran. And then I try and tell you that Muhammad was a Hindu, right? You would reject my message because it contradicts what the Quran says. Obviously, Muhammad was not a polytheist. Let's ignore the satanic verses for a second, all right? Obviously, the Quran and Islam teaches monotheism. So if I come along decades, centuries later, and give you a story that contradicts the Quran, you would reject it because it contradicts what God has revealed. This is why I reject the Quran, because you have the scriptures that God revealed, and then 700 years later, somebody comes along claiming to be a prophet and contradicts the message that God gave. So I can't accept that. Based on my worldview, being a biblical worldview. That's the main reason. That's the main reason. All right, I'll check out Dr. Zakir. All right, I'll check him out. I see you really want me to, so I'll check him out, all right? All right, you cannot stop what's coming. It says I'm going to thrive through the apocalypse. All right, Bulushi says that in Islam you can worship God the same way Jesus worshiped God. All right, we already went through this, but when Jesus prayed, what did he do? He looked up to heaven and he called God Father. All right, this is not the way Muslims pray. All right, Jesus looked up to heaven and called God my Father. All right, as he raises somebody from the dead. Jesus prays in many different ways. So I don't understand why. I truly struggle to understand what is. Never mind. It doesn't matter. All right, shout out to Crypto Greg. We need a dump song. I would have a dump song. What's my routine? My routine is, for trading, I do high time frames. I mark my key levels, and then I just set alerts at my key levels. It's really that simple. All right, I have to clear my misunderstanding. I'll check out Dr. Zakir Naik. Thank you, Faz, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Great education for those who question trading versus gambling. Yeah, for sure. Trading and gambling are not the same thing. This looks so bearish, man. So here's the deal. As we say at the beginning of the stream, there are two important things that we need to watch today. Thing number one is, do we confirm a red dot? If we confirm a red dot on market Cipher B, we expect the rest of the week to be bearish. Thing number two If we close the candle today below 67,250, we expect much more bearish follow through. If we can close a candle above the level, if we get a pump into the daily open and this red dot goes away, then we can expect more upside. But until then, things do look bearish on this high time frame. All right. Absolutely. Are we in any trade? I'm in a few trades, honestly. I'm in a few trades. Have I ever tried a trading bot? Yes. Yes. I'm in a few trades. Is there going to be a stream tomorrow? I hope so. I hope so. All right. This guy says all he hears is my book is way better. My book better than your book. Yeah. That's true. I mean, to a non-believer, this is literally ridiculousness. All right? To someone who doesn't believe in God, it's absolute ridiculousness. And I understand that. The problem with Islam is that Islam claims to be the next succession of revelation, right? Islam claims to be the next revelation in line of the previous scriptures. So Islam is basically saying, I'm part of this book already, right? Islam claims to be part of the book, right? And then contradicts the book that it claims to be a part of. That's why we're having this discussion, right? Like, if I had a religion that said, you know, John wore blue, right? And this is our religion. We believe this about God. And then 1,000 years later, someone comes along and says, John wore red. And they're trying to convince me that they're agreeing with the fact that John wore blue. That's what Islam is, right? This is like the Hebrew Bible and the Gospel. And this is the Quran. And the Quran says, hey, don't worry. I'm here to confirm this. I line up with this. I'm preaching the same message as John wore blue, but John actually wore red. Yeah, I believe that John wore blue, but John wore red. This is why Islam is a contradiction. And that's why we're having this discussion. Now, if you're an atheist, then it's all a whole bunch of nonsense. And that's fine too, honestly. We're still way above the upper trend line of the big falling wedge. Ryan H says, who cares? Well, I care. You know, I care. The reason I care is because, you know, humanity is screwed. We have a serious issue. It's called sin, right? We are separated from God because of our sin, which means we're all headed to destruction. Which means we all live completely meaningless, purposeless lives in our current state. But the Creator made a way for us to not have to live a meaningless, purposeless, short life that ends in death. He made a way for us to be repurchased, born again, filled with His Holy Spirit, and now we have the hope of eternal life. This is why I care about that. You know, because only in Jesus is there eternal hope, is there eternal purpose. Other than that, things are very nihilistic. We have a short life. Nothing really matters without Jesus. Nothing matters. You live this life, you go through your pursuits, maybe you work hard, maybe you're a billionaire. Maybe you have every comfort you could possibly imagine in life. Maybe you have nothing. Maybe you die when you're 3 years old from some horrible disease. Either way, without Jesus, it's all the same. Right? It's all the same. Now, God Himself cared about us so much that He took on flesh and lived a sinless life so that He could deal with sin, solve the problem that separates us from God, reunite us to God, so that now we can live a life of purpose and hope and eternal purpose, eternal hope, where it's not just over. That's why I care, man. All right. We got mad super chats from Foz. Thank you, Fuzz. I appreciate all your super chats, man. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I feel bad that you're giving me all these super chats, all right? I feel bad that you're giving me all these super chats. I feel like I got to pay you back. All right, but I really appreciate your super chats. Where do I see the price going again? Do I see the price going to 60 again? All right, so here's the deal. Right now, if we close the candle with the red dot below 67,250, I believe we are going to see price come down to $62,000, the golden pocket and the order block. If we lose that, then we have to be open for a move down to 60,000 at the low of the range, honestly. But here's the deal. If we don't hold 62K, I would say things start to look quite bearish, because then we have a confirmed fake out of this, right? And then in that case, I would be open to this. And I'm again, look, we've been talking about this literally since August. This is the mother of all confluences. All right. We need to be open to just following this trend line of lower lows and lower highs. And this, in my opinion, if we see a massive flash crash in Q4 of 2024, which we only got 2 months left, this would be a very bullish event. Do I want to see that? But we need to be open to it, because that's the next support that we have at that golden pocket. But for right now, we need to just pay attention to what we have in front of us. There's no need to worry about those things. Right now, what we need to be only worried about is, are we going to close the daily candle above 67,250 or not, right? We don't have to cross those bridges until we get there. We can't close the candle above 67,250, then we look at 62K, right? We can't hold 62K, well, then we can think about 60K. But we got to take it one step at a time. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We can be aware of the levels. We can be aware of the levels. But we don't want to put the cart in front of the horse here. I do feel bad, Foz, man. Like I feel bad that you gave me so many super chats, but I appreciate it. I mean, thank you. God bless you, Foz. I really appreciate it. How did I become so interested in the Bible? Well, here's what happened. I don't know. All I can say is it was a work of God in my life. That's all I can say, because I was living a life of complete self-indulgence. Let's just put it that way. I was a musician. I was a full-time musician in a metal band, touring internationally when I was between the ages of 18 and about 21 and a half. And it's weird, because I pretty much had everything that I wanted in life at that time, which was, I was in a band. I was on the road. I was doing music at a level that most people dream about. Playing some really big tours. And I just felt that I wanted something more. I don't know how else to put it, right? And I obviously, through this time, I went down a whole bunch of different roads of philosophy and religion, researching a lot of different things. And long story short, eventually, Jesus totally changed my life. That's all I could say. And from that point onward, I immediately had an intense desire to study the Bible. I don't know. It's been a passion of mine since around that time, when I was about 22 years old. So that's there was no crazy thing that happened. Let me just put it that way. It's not like there was nothing bad happening in my life. I was living a great life. All right, we got more super chats. We got another super chat. All right. All right, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Curl says, the Bible's an astrology book. Just look closer, man. And sell all your coins. Do I know Daniel from Chart Champions? Of course I do. I love Daniel from Chart Champions. What was my band called? It's a secret. Yeah, My Chemical Romance. It was My Chemical Romance. That was it. It was My Chemical Romance. What are the other two indicators I use? Open interest and CVD. CVD. Open interest and CVD. That's EXO charts. EXO charts. All right. We're getting to move back down now, guys. What a boring live stream. I mean, look, when things get boring here, you know we open up the Bible, man. What band was it? I don't really like to talk about it, guys. You know? You saw me live at the Olive Garden? Was I eating a giant bowl of spaghetti? Religion causes wars? I mean, does religion cause wars? Or do evil desires cause wars? Let's be honest. I mean, let's look at the fruit of the 20th century in the world, where where pretty much atheism, or should I say the state being God, and the state removing spirituality. How did that work out? Didn't work out very well. It was the bloodiest century of recorded history. So look, at the end of the day, human beings are going to cause wars with each other, and it doesn't have to do with religion. It has to do with you have something that I want, and I'm going to come get it, and I'm going to kill you for it. Because we are sinful, separated from God, not being good representations of who He is, and we're in need of redemption. You know? That's why. Yeah, any ideology causes war. That's absolutely true, JGD. It's absolutely true. Why is 67,250 important? 67,250 was important. 67,250 is the most important level of the last 6 months of Bitcoin price action. It's the high volume node now of this massive range going back to February 28th. That's why. That's why. Is the Antichrist alive today? I don't know. How could I know that? How could I know that? Where's the best place to learn trading? The internet. The internet. Loss of menstruation in the 19th century. Lots of menstruation in every century. All right, shout out to Foz. Thank you, bro, for the super chats, man. I really appreciate you, bro. Naveen says, the Antichrist will come uniting all religions as one in the name of peace. I definitely lean that way. I definitely lean that way in my eschatological views. I don't, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to eschatology, which is the study of the end times based on biblical prophecy, I definitely hold to my views, but I also am not willing to become too dogmatic about anything, because I think that can lead to, well, I think that's a little bit dangerous. to become too dogmatic about things we can't know for certain. But I personally lean towards, meaning I believe the probabilities, good risk reward, that the Antichrist and the false prophet, or should I say, the beast of Revelation, the beast that comes from the earth and the beast that comes from the sea, who's later called the false prophet, I believe that that duo will create a one world religion and try and unite everybody together. I personally do believe that. But I would never become too dogmatic about it and say it's 100% going to be that way. You know? Do I believe that after we die, we either go to heaven or hell? I personally believe that, this is my personal view, alright? I hold to, I mean, I guess you could say that. The problem is very hard to define those terms the more you dig into them biblically. I believe that after life comes a judgment, and I believe that either you will be with God or you will not. That's what I believe. All right. I think, and I can say that what I just said is biblical. I gave enough information to be biblical that after this life there is a judgment, and the two possibilities are either you are with God, in fellowship with God, or you are not. Have I read anything about Islam? Yes. Thank you for your question. If we flip 67.5, I might FOMO add to your long. I mean, it's not a bad place to FOMO add to a long, to be honest. But the thing I don't like about it is the daily. And the fact that I feel in my bones like we can take those lows. But yeah, it's not a bad place. I've been kind of waiting to FOMO add to some of my longs as well, man. You're in a long from 60. I'm in a long from 60.4. I'm a little bit scared to... well, basically, I'm going to take some profits out if we start to lose this and don't reclaim. And then I'll look to add if we come back down to 62, the golden pocket. Like, I'm looking to add at the purple box. If we lose the white line here at 666, if the mark of the beast doesn't hold up Bitcoin, then I will take some profits out of this and look to... I'll wait until 62. Do I work out while I trade? I work out while I trade because I like to stay fit and active. That's honestly the only reason. Can I explain how I pick the most reliable fixed range volume profile? Well, I only do it on the ByBit USD chart. And I use row size 70. I'm sorry, I use row size 200, value area 70. And I do it where basically you just kind of look and see where is the range. Like, it takes some eyeballing, right? But I would consider this to be a range right here, right? You want to look for a place where there's a clear high and a clear low. I would consider, you know, this chunk to be a range as well. You know, so you can look at different ranges within the ranges. But overall, we have like a really big range. You consider this to be a range within a range right here. You know, technically, you consider this little chunk to be a range. So you just kind of look at it and say, where is price respecting highs and lows? That's where you want to look at the volume. Do I homestead? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. 100% I homestead. In fact, I've just expanded the gardens even more. So, Lord willing, this next year is going to be my biggest gardening adventure. And I'm also in the process of building a brand new barn. Have I listened or interested in Flat Earth? Oh, are you talking to Fiat Dave? Talking to Fiat Dave? If one is not religious but has a sense of right and wrong that aligns with Christian views, will you be judged poorly by God? Look, God is a just judge. But at the end of the day, at least according to the scripture, so, you know, look, I'm only going to answer you according to the scripture. Doesn't mean, obviously, I hope everyone understands this. When I give an answer, it's based upon my worldview, which is, I believe that the Bible is legit, right? So according to the Bible, it says, God has given us eternal life, and that life is in his Son. He who has the Son has life. He who does not have the Son of God does not have life. So, if you are a good person, and you do the things that line up with what God wants you to do, I believe that God will take that into account on Judgment Day. But I also believe that unless you are born again, you will not enter into the kingdom of God. Right? Jesus says, unless you are born twice, unless you're born of water and of the Spirit, you cannot enter into the kingdom of God. So there needs to be an actual transformation that takes place in your life that only comes through repentance and placing your faith in Jesus, which causes you to be born again. Because once you're born the first time, you're born into sin, which leads to death. You're born a second time by the Spirit of God. Your actual substance changes. Now you're eternal. Now you have eternal life. So, I believe God is a just judge. But I also believe that the scripture is very clear that unless you have been born again, you will not live with God. And, you know, some people might want that or not want that. You know what I'm saying? Do I have a Muslim friend? Of course. Why use ByBit? The reason I use ByBit is because ByBit is respected the most. I don't know why, and I don't care. Shout out to EOS Watchdogs. Me and the kids picked the potatoes all day yesterday. Decent crop for only 3 rows. Man, I love picking potatoes with the kids. I really do. I really do. Do I have a green screen behind me? I hope so. Yeah, of course, I have a green screen behind me. Of course I do. Have I planted any garlic yet? Not yet. Not until the end of November do I plant my garlic. Have I ever done a prop firm challenge? I have not. I have not. How do you deal with the value area changing? Well, you just have to be watching it constantly. Like, this is new. The value area used to be, excuse me, it used to be 63,150. If you guys remember last week, we were so excited to be above 63,150. But now, most of the volume is at 67, so now we got to change our views, right? You got to be following constantly. Now, 63,150 is still a high volume node, right? So it's still an important level. But yeah, you always have to make sure you're up to date on your, and what you can do also is you can click extend right, which will make sure that your volume profile is always pulled to the current candle, you know? Dan thought I was a crypto streamer, not a religious streamer. Well, I'm mostly a crypto streamer, but, you know, bro, if you've been around long enough, you know, when the price is slow, we get biblical. All right, we get biblical, man. So, Mr. Moon says, I'm having pizza with rice again. That's what's up, Mr. Moon. Pizza with rice. You guys know what's up. You guys know what's up. That is what's up. All right. Well, guys, I was really hoping we'd get some volatility today. I was really hoping we could get into a live trade today. But, yeah, pizza with rice, all right? Gotta get those carbs in. But I'm going to head out, guys, all right? I am. God bless you all. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you. May God bless you all. And Lord willing, I will see you guys tomorrow. So peace.